How you doing? How is everyone going on this losing hour Sunday? Yeah, in theory it's only 3 o'clock, but no, it's 4 o'clock because you got to put the clocks forward an hour. Ooh, yes, you do. So yes, how you doing, Phil? Hope you're feeling better. Getting there, mate. I think, but I've never had anything so weird, like me throat, but nothing else. Literally nothing else wrong with me. Just a tickly, irritating throat that makes me sound like Morgan Freeman. Strange, absolutely strange. But anyway, I hope you're all well. It looks like it's going to rain outside here in Portsmouth. How you doing, Binky? Hope you're well. Beats and Tapes in the house. We're playing with his yo-yo again. He's doing a lot of yo-yoing, isn't you, Beats and Tapes? Happy days. How you doing, Mr. Waffle in the house? Good afternoon. Look at that. Look at that. 3 mods in the house already. Oh, happy days. That should solve the problem of any Herberts. Be shouting at anyone. No, not yet. No, I haven't actually. No, I can't be bothered, mate. I literally can't be bothered to shout at people. So no, I don't know what it is. It's the strangest thing. But yeah, you think, like shouting or something or whatever, but strange, mate. It's strange. I've never had anything like it because normally you get sore throat, you get headache, or the flu comes and your wrists and your ankles and your knees hurt and all that. But obviously, my knees hurt anyway now. Just that's it. But crazy. Been raining here all afternoon. Cold. Oh my word. So you got it just as bad as me then. That's not good, is it? That's not good. It's not good in the hood. It's not good in the hood. So I'll get my story. I always like to have one story ready before because, people aren't going to call in straight away, are they? But I like to have my story ready. So make sure I load it up and get it up on screen for you guys because I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm sure you heard about it. But yes, the gentleman in question is apparently Indian. So there's a very high chance that he is, in fact, yes. Good afternoon, Nelly. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Oh, happy days. Yep, that's my chosen story for today, mate. Yeah, I did see it come out. I was like, here we go again. I told you, Ramavan, innit? Ramavan. Anything we shouts is get off the internet. Yeah, it is. When it goes all funny, innit? Straight to the door. What's going on? What's going on, geez? Alan, good afternoon, wizard. Good afternoon, Alan. I know your name's Alan. I don't know why I said Alan. I put an R in it for you, mate. Oh, thank you, Paul Thorpe, and been enjoying your videos. Thank you. Oh, thank you, mate. I appreciate it. You having what do you call it? Taking the time. That's what I was going. Taking the time out to come and watch and join in and get in the chat, and that I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. Happy days. But yes, today it's going to be a call-in show, but obviously I'll go through this story that we have up on screen so we can all be up to date. And then, we're opening that up. I'm hoping for a couple of guys to be in here today, which we arranged yesterday. So I'm hoping it happens. Diversity is our strength, apparently. Yeah, apparently. Christmas tree was also attacked last night in Leicester Square. No way. Really? Is there a video of that, Pat? Do you know? If there is, and you can find it, give me the name of it, and I'll see if I can find the clip. Really? Why would see? How you doing, Grace? Hope you're well. Defiant Fox is in the house. Afternoon, my fellow infidels and patriots. Yeah. Oh, Bobby's in the house. I'm about just making some coffee. Yep, I made mine, mate. I've made mine. Literally got my first story ready, so that's all good. Probably delivering Piers Morgan his curry, and folks were in the way. Bonsoir, bonsoir, bonjour, bonjour, namaste. How you doing, Harry? Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. But this story, I thought I'd choose this story because apparently it's an Indian. I don't know if you guys have had any more up-to-date versions of or anything like that, but this is like the newest version I got, which I think it's about 3 hours ago it was posted. Let me just, because I do follow Revelations. Let's have a look. Is it an actual video or I was hoping it's is it a short or is it a long one or? Oh, there's nothing there that I could quickly grab, like, because the video is 22 minutes, 11 minutes. Oh, that's right. I thought it might be worth trying to see if we could see it. So, but that's all good. It's all good. No worries. Yeah, I hope Chris is all right. Anyway, yeah. What is it about blooming attacking people nowadays? I don't get it. There's no reason for it. No reason for it. But you know, it's written in the Quran. So, what can I say? But a man in his 30s, ladies and gentlemen, has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after 7 people suffered serious injuries when a car hit pedestrians in Derby. I don't know how you spell it. How do you say it? I say Derby. How do you say it? The car, a black Suzuki Swift, struck a number of people in Friargate at about 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, Derbyshire police said. So 9:30 in the evening. Oh, the second one, Derby. It's Derby. I always say Derby. I don't know why. Read it as it is a D-E-R, Derby. Derby. So it's an A, Derby. I did say when a Derbyshire police. I'll say it like that on that. Yeah, Derby. We've got to get the pronunciation right, haven't we? But yeah. Yeah, give it a timestamp and that, because I could always put it in a different video and that. It's good to bring awareness. I mean, these guys are out. I mean, they got the knowledge. Do you know what I mean? They literally debate. They're not there for any arguments, violence, or any ever. Do you know what I mean? They just speak and they debate. So for them to be attacked, especially Chris, I mean, we've seen Bob of Speaker's Corner. He's got attacked a few times. Young Bob, he's been attacked a few times. Do you know what I mean? It's getting absolutely ridiculous. There's something going on because we've got all these strange attacks by a certain people of the community, shall we say, and then obviously now they're attacking people that just want to talk and debate. So I don't know, you know, what do we do? You know, you're not even allowed to talk. You'll get accused of being Islamophobic or suffering from Islamophobia. So yeah, counter-terror police are investigating, but that's what I thought, because they said like he's Indian, so the chances are he is Muslim, surely. I sent you the stream. You'll have to scroll through. It's about halfway through. Oh, right. Okay. Chris was talking to Wendell today at Speaker's Corner. Oh, Wendell, Urban Scoop. Yeah, Chris is all good, mate. He came on AP's stream last night and he's oh, that's all right then. Happy days. That's a result then. At least he's all right. It's not nothing major. Like, you know, end up in hospital because he got like a, you know, broken eye socket or a broken blooming nose or something ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? It'd be crazy. So it goes to show the world we live in it. Don't like what you say. So Derby, yeah. The second one. So yes, you're right, Johnsy. It says, I believe, in this one, I think, because I read a couple, but this one was a bit more, so that's why I chose this one. 7 people treated at the scene and taken to hospital, a range of serious but not life-threatening injuries, the force added. See, that's something, literally, like, so no one's going to die, like, thank God for that. A man in his 30s who's originally from India was found a short time after the incident and arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, causing serious injury through dangerous driving, inflicting grievous bodily harm with intent, and dangerous driving, police said. He remains in police custody. You wait, as soon as he finds out he's Muslim and he done it in the name of the Quran, they'll be like, okay, NFA, mate, no further action. You can go home. It's all right. You watch. So, how you doing, Cherries? Hope you're well, mate. The story that I'm going through is literally from last night, but this report is 3 hours old. It's super fresh in the house. And I did think, like, from what you said yesterday, Cherry, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make a note and say, like, this report is literally 3 hours old. But I know we got to have some. I get what you say. Like, you know, we got to have. You don't want news from like 6 weeks ago, do you? Like that blooming chicken nugget story. I started saying that, and that story actually begun a year before that, and it's took that long to get there. So it was an older story, but you know, it was a newer version of said story because there were updates. But the fact is, the story was a year old. So yeah, so that's quite annoying. But anyway, a statement from Derbyshire Police said 7 people were treated at the scene by ambulance crews and taken to Royal Derby Hospital and Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham. The 7 suffered a range of serious but not life-threatening injuries, and we can confirm that, contrary to online speculation, no one died in the incident. So that's something then. That's something, isn't it? That is something. So, yeah, I mean, it was weird actually, because about a week ago, I actually said to my missus, like, we had all those car and vans being driven in and like in different countries and running people over with vehicles and that. I said it seemed to stop now. It's like there's like a fad that it was like, you know, the new Islamic thing for those months where, right, let's just use cars and as weapons and just run people over. And then all of a sudden, this happened. I was like, how weird, because that was in my mind, the facts to do with I even say, because it was in my mind the other day, and I said, oh, Ramadan. It says Ramadan. I said Ramadan. It was still in my head. And how weird that this happens. How weird. So yes, have Discord. I ain't got a clue how to do it or anything. I do go on it now and again. Pat's there. Pouncy, he's there. I'm there. Not sure what to do, but yeah, I am on Discord, the Wizard's Words. So I need to work out, and I these sort of things. I need to get people to sort of run it or do it or whatever. I'm not too sure. Things this Discord go over my head. Go over my head. So, but yeah, there is a Discord there. The Wizard's Words, if anyone knows how to do whatever and how to whatever. I don't know. Yeah, Chris is not violent. Oh, no, Chris at Speaker's Corner looks like one of the most placid people. Like, if I was working on the pub door and he walked into my pub, he would not be someone that I would give a second thought at all. The sort of bloke that would come in, sit down, have his munch, and he'd be out. That'd be it. It just nothing about him says trouble. Nothing. Do you know what I mean? You probably have a very intelligent, sensible conversation with the man, and that'd be it. Do you know what I mean? There's, you know, but I get that from Apostate Prophet, even David Wood. I know he's got a past, whatever, but medical. Sorry, still dodgy throat. That's why people are gonna have to call in, you see. But yeah, they just don't come across as those sort of people to be violent. So Bowser, how you doing, mate? I'll kick out all these Islamic baiters from the UK. It's time we stop flooding our country with the third world. Yeah, we need to get hold of the government. I think there's some ulterior motive. There has to be, because I tweeted, and I think I even might have put on one of my YouTube posts in the community post type thing. Like, it just makes no sense. Is it that hard to understand and learn something about Islam and then think, hang on, something's not right here. How's this a religion? But no, the government, the whole UK government, irrelevant. Don't know, don't care. Just carry on. I don't get it. So they must have an ulterior motive. They must have. How you doing, CL? Hope you well. Hope you well. The majority of Indians are Hindu. Yes, they are. They are Hindu and Muslim. Because I know the Indians back in the day during the war, it was like convert or die, basically. So that's how a lot of the Indians were forced into the Muslim thing. But Hindu, yeah. I don't mind Hindus. They you know, some of that culture fascinates me. I love it. I love it. I really do. But oh my word, my throat's already getting tickly. Oh my. But yeah, but if you're watching, all 50 of you, get in the chat. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and give it a minute. Get in the chat and have your say. Your whatever you want to say, whatever you put in the comments, I try to get up on screen because whatever you have to say is just the same as me talking. We're all equal. That's the way we run it here. That's the way we roll. Cheese roll, mate. Cheese roll. Ham roll. Oh, no, can't say ham. Oh, that's very Islamophobic. And we get sarcastic at times as well, yes. But we have very, very knowledgeable people in the chat, don't we? You all understand Islam. Some even understand Christianity. I probably know more about Islam than I do Christianity, which is not good. But I am obviously in the process of learning and teaching myself and educating myself. I did load up 2 videos today. We had some lad spitting at a St. George's flag, so go check that video out. It's only a couple of minutes long. And then we got little Smurf boys about 4 foot go, I'm starting a security company in Manchester. We're going to patrol the streets. Hang on, we got police for that. So check those videos out. They are funny. Wow, the little security guard one is. Don't know what planet he's on. But yeah. How you doing, Ollie? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Yes, as far as I understand, yes. I believe they are Hindu, but they're majority Muslim. That's what I believe, Defiant Fox. So let's say, actually, there's only one way to find out. Let's let's have a look. Let's put percentage, because I assume you're right with the Hindu, but I'd like to know what the India is home to the world's 3rd largest Muslim population, over 14%, because obviously it's mainly Hindu, which I think Mr. Waffle said, which was right. Ah, right, the 3rd. %. I wonder how many people that is. 14%. But there's a video here, and it says that Muslim population in India on the rise goes up 43%. So the population went up 43% so it's probably doubled, near enough. Oh, 14%. It's approximately 172.2 million people. Wow. Most of India's Muslims are Sunni, with Shia making up around 15% of the Muslim population. So 85% Sunni, 15% Shia. 172 million. Wow. And the UK feels like it's being overtaken at 6%. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, that is. That must be awful for India. Wow. Because you would not believe Britain is 6. I mean, it depends where you go. It says 6%, then it says 6.5, 6.7. So let's average it, say 6.5%, 6.5% of Britain is Muslim. It feels more like it's 65%, doesn't it? The way everyone's got a barrel to everything, and now all meats in Subway and KFC got to be halal. What? Because of 6.5% of the population? Are you for real? Because of 4 million people out of 70 million people demand it. How does that work? So it does. It feels like we're like 65% Muslim, doesn't it? The way they stop and no, we've got to do this because the Muslim community. Oh, you got to do that because of the Muslim community. Well, hang on a minute. It's only 6%. Yeah, we're not interested in the other 94%. Don't worry about them. It's about what this 6% want. That's how it comes across. And to me, maybe I'm wrong, but let me know in the comments. It feels like the UK 65% the way they go on. Well, I read that. The investigation into circumstances surrounding the incident are ongoing, and we are keeping an open mind as to the motives. The force's initial The statement said, although we know this will be alarming, we'd like to reassure people that we do not believe this is an ongoing risk to the public. A section of Friargate is expected to be closed for some time and people are asked to avoid the area. The police are actively investigating. We don't believe this is a wider cause for the public to be alarmed. The police have made an arrest and the Home Secretary is being kept up to date. So, well, there we go. So that's basically it. Please follow police advice and avoid the area. Anyone who has information should contact them as soon as possible. I think that's a nice picture to leave up for now. Like that. That's right. Where'd you get to? Electric how you doing, mate? Yep, Indians are usually Hindu. Yes, we just looked looking at 80%. 80% and 14% Muslim, which is 172 million. But I ain't ever heard of a Hindu. No, that's it. There's a group of Indian Hindus sticking up for Islam, claiming they live in peace. But if you ask me, hijab, that's not true. No. Where's the debate? I don't know, mate. I don't know. They're going to make me struggle with my voice for a bit, aren't they? But obviously, I will be putting the calling thing going up for it's Jake and Bobby, wasn't it? Who should hopefully be here, and they can follow the link. So yeah, and if not, obviously I'll open it up to everyone else. That's the way we roll. Chicken nuggets. Hello, chicken nugget. I'll be chief of defence next month. He will be chief. Yeah. Indian Muslim is going to be found innocent. All charges will be dismissed, and the attack will be blamed on the far right. I know what to do with it. Yeah. Sounds about right. It's probably Hindu. They need to be more peaceful like the Muslims. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I listen, cherries. I listen. Yeah, every time I'm African Muslim. Yep. Always comes from. It's weird though. That 15% is 172.2 million Muslims. That's mental. These car barriers were built well in advance, only to protect valuable areas under the guise of the public. Zach was known to Lisby. He was talking to him. Oh. Was it casting spells? Yep, I could do. Not that weird. It's weekly occurrence. Crystal Epi last night, 2 hours in. They show the video. Just 7. Oh, actually, I can just leave that up on the screen and look it up. Come on, what am I doing? Writing it down. Come on, Wiz. Come on, Wiz. Oh, it just popped up saying Igor Tudor leaves Tottenham as club faces serious threat of relegation. He's left because he was absolutely rubbish, mate. That's why. Absolutely rubbish. Like, couldn't have chosen a worse manager. Right. So on the apostate profits. On apostate profit. And it was last night's live, was it? Oh yeah, it says with blood on his face. Oh my word. That's not good. Right. And it was 2 hours. 2 hours. 7:27. So let's go. Oh, right. Yeah. That's good. Right. Okay. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, happy days. Right. Stop that. Share screen. Oh, he's got a plaster on his nose. Rewind it a bit. Right. Okay, ladies and gents, we do have it. Thank you, Grace, for that. Appreciate it. Right, this is it. So make sure you can hear it, guys. Turn your volume up if you need to. I'll turn mine up. So watch this. It go to the it said Chris at Speaker's Corner MMA. Let me if I remove that. Look at state of Chris. Plaster on his nose. MMA. That's mental. But right, let's press play and let's see what happens.
Oh, that reminds me. So someone, I can't remember who. I don't know if it's the same guy or a different guy, but he was making racial remarks to David, calling him that word, but not just the short version, the full version.
AP,
so yeah,
he was calling him he was calling him Black David.
Wait, which word was he saying?
Okay, so in Britain, in England, we have a food that is literally called faggots.
Mhm.
I'm just being honest with you, right?
Mhm.
They're delicious.
They're lovely.
But that word...
You're saying faggots are delicious?
Well... Don't make this awkward, man. So
Chris at Speaker's Corner declares his favorite food, the most delicious thing. What the heck, man? Hey, Pete,
By Mr. Brains.
you're taking advantage of this man who's just, like had his brain scrambled by the power of this punch, man.
So, man, it's literally it's the cold. Like, I keep sneezing and yeah. So it's literally just the cold. I think what actually happened is. I think he just cut my nose. I think that's literally all he did. But it looks really bad. But there was some medical person that turned up and looked me over and basically went, "Yeah, it looks like he just cut you." So I was like, "Yeah, see, it feels that way." Wasn't dizzy, wasn't anything. Yeah. So he didn't really do much to me, which was good.
Nice.
But yeah. Anyway, then we like tried. Grab him and take it out. There's a point when he's on the floor in front of me, and I'm not gonna lie, I did want to kick him, and I did want to do things, but I didn't do anything. I didn't kick him. He was lying on the floor in front of me. I know, like, but I remember thinking that's not what I want to be. So
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Guys, you heard it here. You heard it here. Chris said his natural reaction was to grab that dude, drag him over to the curb, put him mouth down on the curb and stomp the back of his head, knocking out all his teeth, but he didn't do it. He didn't.
It's called a Chelsea
Hey, here
smile,
you can see
isn't
it,
it?
Chris. It is right here on footage, on camera.
The Turkish smile.
That's Lesbiano.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Lesbiano.
Look at this idiot. Hey, dummy, you are all over. You are all over Lesbiano's video, man. All over, talking directly to the camera.
Lesbiano calls him back over. He talks to Lesbiano. Then Lesbiano tells him basically to go to get out here.
Listen, don't worry. I'll cut the video. I'll cut it, man. Don't worry. I'll cut it.
And then he walks away. Lesbiano says to him, "Hey, get out of here." And then he goes away. So Lesbiano actually helps him, tells him to escape.
So the bodyguards Lesbiano has with him actually tried to stop us performing a citizen's arrest on the guy, which was really I'm guessing you see the footage, but he's like David.
People are pulling dudes off.
Yeah, literally.
Guys are trying to hold him. David's trying to hold him on the ground, and people pulling on him.
People said someone yelled out in the crowd something like he can't breathe or something. So basically, someone said,
killing him. You're killing
David
him.
is like killing this guy, and it's like no, he's just like sat on him so he doesn't move. But they used every excuse to get this guy out so we could run off. And,
some guy was shouting there the whole time. You're killing him. You're killing him. You're killing him.
Oh, wow.
Like, this is what you're worried about. Somebody literally attacks people physically, and you're worried that you're killing him. You're killing him, right? That's a great worry.
It's dumb, but I just want to make it absolutely clear because I've seen like he's phrasing it as we went to assault or something. None of us went there and did anything like that. All of us like are really calm. We get a bit like elevated in speech, but none of us put our hands on anyone. None of us do anything. And there are people, including me, repeatedly saying, "Let's not get violent." So this is what they do. This is what they do. This is the
Yeah,
down.
what
he
they do.
titled it "Christians Try to Assault Us in London Live." Christians try to assault us.
There was
how about,
literally
how about you
nothing
guys
in this.
How about you guys actually assault Christians?
He actually titled it that way.
Yeah,
course he did.
I
Dude,
guess
we
he
can
has
played
see
the
it.
victims.
We can all see it, right? It's all on footage.
So they literally labelled it as Christians try to attack us. So that they can say, "Oh, it's all self-defense," and they think they can then bully the coppers, and there'll be no charges. That's what it is. That's what they do. Literally, play the victim. That is terrible. And you're right, Jake. They always fight in packs, loads of them. You've seen it in Speaker's Corner. That time when the bloke's trying to stab Hatun Tash and whatever, and go for the neck and that. They know what they're doing. So to make out like Christians went for them, it's just rubbish. We all know that. I assume this video evidence will show otherwise. But I mean, we're going to obviously see Chris get out, which I don't really want to see, but you know, nonetheless, we have to. But to claim that the Christians attacked them, you know full well the Muslims are going to be the aggressive ones. You know.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I was saying, one of the bodyguards, like, because when they get like really touchy, I just start like messing with them and like giving them weird compliments just to throw them off. But like this one guy, he's like pushing me back constantly, and eventually he turns to me and he says, "Look, I'm just doing my job." And I was kind of thinking, like, yeah, you know what you're doing is wrong here, because you know that like one side is being aggressive and the other side isn't. And you know, he kind of had this like moment where he just was like, yeah, you know, I'm just doing what I got to do. But yeah, it was kind of revealing to me. I was like, yeah, you know you're doing wrong.
That lad there that we can see on the screen, is it Dave? Is that his name? Big Dave? He's got a name, hasn't he? Oh, he's got a name, hasn't he? Of course he has. But I mean, it's his proper name. He doesn't go, you know, like young Bob, even though his name's Thomas, say. Is it Dave? You have to let me know in the chat. Is his name Dave? Dave? Can't. Oh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it is. Is David right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I was trying to think then because I used to watch a lot, but obviously where I do so many live streams, I don't watch as much. But I try to keep in touch with it all, especially with Apostate Prophet and David Wood. I am a subscriber to all their channels that you see on their screen there, Chris, Dave, and Ridvan.
You know what you're doing here. But yeah, this was it. This is what the new downward tactic. Actually, to be fair,
Look at
I've
that
said
thumb
this
in
for a
his
while,
face.
but
That's one. I can't stand that. I used to hate that on the door, putting there like that, doing it like, or just anything, putting like whatever in your. What you doing? Get your hand out my face. See, things like that. Literally, just grab, twist, get out my face.
violence is the best argument Muslims have at the moment.
What's he doing? Yeah, violence is, mate. You're 100%. That is their only argument. Violence.
Are you serious, man? This is actually Orthodox Lips actually titled his video.
Yep.
Christians try to assault us in London live.
What a freaking dork, man.
Yeah, he's lying.
This is where his footage ends.
So don't even see anything.
Wow.
That's where it ends. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it's
we
a
got the
bit
full
more, isn't
footage, so we can show
Well,
you
they
what
literally
happens.
cut it short. So everyone needs to go onto the Orthodox Muslim channel, find that video, and start commenting there, going, "No, we didn't see no aggression from any Christians. It was just Muslims." That's what you need to comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, who bets that he's not going to turn up to Speaker's Corner tomorrow? He said he would.
No way he's going to show up to Speaker's Corner.
Nah,
That
I
coward.
don't think he will. He's a coward.
So here you can see. You probably didn't watch.
How you doing, Jake? You good, mate?
I'm a bit tired today, to be honest. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Who's your throat better?
I don't know if it sounds better. I mean, it's still ticking and annoying, but yeah, it's still there basically. But I think that extra hour that we lost, I could have done with that. I woke up this morning and it's 10. I was like, "Whoa!"
I know that's exactly what I was thinking, and yeah, it's completely thrown me off. So if I seem a bit dozy today, then you know why.
gives someone a chance to actually win a debate against you then, doesn't it? They can take advantage of your doziness.
Anyone can beat me in a debate. It's not difficult.
Yeah, my eyes today, I still, even now, actually, I still feel like I've just woken up. My eyes, I don't know what it is. They feel all, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But actually, I was going to ask you a question. As you know, I like to ask people questions. And it was when you were about being on the doors and people putting their thumb in your face or their hand in your face. When you watch people and you observe people, what are the signs of immediate danger that you can see, and what are the signs of somebody who's just trying to assert a dominance for those that aren't familiar?
Signs of danger are the ones that will not stand still. They're always moving. You got to literally, because I used to find that I'd always have to take a step back because I need to be able to see the hands, because they're all, they're doing this and they're doing that, and bang. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're the ones you got to be careful of, and the ones that are all that and a bag of chips, but just mouth, literally stand there, give it all that, and then if you step forward, they normally step back, and straight away you're like, they're trying to withdraw from it. So the chances are they will not get physical. Not all time, but to be honest, like I say, the dangerous ones, full well, they're going to step towards you. They're going to be super fidgety. I've had them step up. They're in my face, and I know which way that's going to go. And I always make sure that if it comes, I will beat them to the headbutt. I know why they're close. They're not going to get their hands anywhere near my head or my face. I can't see them, because what they're doing is they're going to come in and they're going to try and boost me straight on my nose, or, which I've had before, the bloke literally had to jump in order to get me in the head. But when they do that, I just move back. They normally get me in the chest, and then that's it. Double push, double-handed. I literally just push away. But if they're in my face and they say something, they're like, oh, I'm going to, and then it's a verbal threat. At that point, I will then bow my head. Normally I'll try and get them on their forehead, because it's like heading a football. It might sound violent, I suppose, but it's not. To bang on foreheads is probably the best way, because you put it on someone's nose, the chances are it's going to explode. But I always try just to go for their forehead, so they think, hang on, this bloke as a doorman is willing to hurt me, and they normally step back. But in answer to your question, fidgety people, they're moving around and that, they sort of look around and sort of give you the impression like, why are they looking around? And then you think, it's to see if anyone's looking. But there's normally two of us. So if it gets like that, the other doorman normally would come in between me and the aggressor, and he'd step in, and it's like good guy, bad guy type thing. But yeah, I think people,
and they second nature after a while. You just spot these things. You instinctively know how to act and how to respond.
Yeah, literally, it would be easier for me to sort of be in that situation than it is to try and explain it to you. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just instinct, maybe. I was on the doors for like over 6 years, or around 6 years. But
exactly the same principle as when you were asking me about asking people questions. And how do you think of asking the questions? It's the same principle. It's just from having done it, it becomes instinctive. In the same way, I've never headbutted anyone. I've never had anyone try to headbutt me, and so I wouldn't really know what to do in that situation. But because I've not experienced it, and so when I'm asking questions that might challenge people, it's the same thing, that maybe you just haven't asked people questions like that before. And so something that you have to work on and that you develop, and
definitely,
it's a very, very useful skill to be able to spot danger in that, and react in that way.
Yeah, I've always had quite a good read of people. Do you know what I mean? I've even had sort of people where they sort of seem aggressive. I pick up on it, and I've actually, that's my job, I suppose, to talk them down. But in my head, I was like, I'm 99% sure that they will get violent, and then something happens, but they don't, and I'm like, "Ooh, that was a good one." But if something was going to happen tomorrow, I'd probably be not nervous, but a bit more aware that because I haven't been on the doors for a while. So
Yeah.
for me to say, like I just said, oh, you know, if you put your hand in my face, I'll reach up, I'll grab your arm, I can twist it, I can do whatever, and I can have you on the deck. Would I be confident enough to do that now? If I had no choice, I'd have no choice. I'd have to do it, but my confident level, would it go as planned? Maybe it'd be quite a bit of an untidy, scrappy takedown. Maybe that's what worries me, because that's when it gives them the opportunity to maybe hand in a pocket that I don't see and they pull something out. I've had that before. Literally, the whole pub took a big, massive gasp. This bloke, oh mate, I literally tried to break his back.
Really?
There was like there's some railings, like you got the pub door, you come in, there's another door, and then there's sort of like railings, and then people can, wooden railings, people can sit up above, you know, you step up like a platform, and they got all some chairs there, and then obviously down where I'm stood, I'm leaning against those railings, and the blokes come in, and I said, like, mate, I've already told you, I literally just threw you out the garden, like, because I caught him like doing his class A drugs. And he's like, no, it's all right, bruv. I was like, no, it's not all right. You need to leave. And he wouldn't do it. And I said, right, this is your last chance. I've told you 3 times. There's a camera there, camera there. I am going to physically remove you. So he's come straight into my face. So bang, pushed him. He's hit the doors, sort of come in on the floor. As I've gone down, he sort of got up, and I saw something silver as he's pulled it out of his pocket. And I thought it was a knife. And he's got up, because obviously I'll step back. because I thought I need to step back, because I don't know where the strike's going to come. And if I'm bent over, the chances are he can come up and even get me in the face rather than the chest. And I wasn't wearing a stab-proof vest. So I was like, oh, shit. So I stepped back. And my missus was working as well. And I was like, I can't get hurt in front of the missus. It traumatise her. Do you know what I mean? Not embarrassed or nothing like that. I don't want to traumatise her or something. So I stood back. He's then come at me, and I could see it. I put my hand up. I've grabbed it. I've then twisted it inwards on him, and he sort of screamed. I've turned him around, and I'm literally pushing him at the railings. But where his height is, he's sort of only half going over. And I thought, I'll just snap his spine. Don't bother me, because like he's trying to stab me. So I was pushing him back like that. And then I've looked up, and I saw he was actually trying to smack me with a vape. So at that point, I then just kicked his legs out. He's at the deck, put his legs behind him. The other doorman then come in. I said, grab his legs, and we literally carried him out. And then I literally just threw him, like, bugger off, mate, get out. And when that come out, the silver bit, like I said, the whole pub went quiet. It just went, of
course.
And that's what made me think it was a knife, but it was a vape.
You acted in the correct way, because your responsibility was to make sure that that person could be disarmed if possible, so to prevent harm to yourself and other people. And so you want to know what it was, and so you acted entirely appropriately. And obviously, once you realised what it was, you then decided in that moment to use a different tactic, which I think shows really good awareness of the context.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the worst sort of incidents, should we say, thinking, you know, that it could have been an actual bladed article. I was like, wow. That, you know, I went home that night. It did shake me up a bit thinking about it. Like, that could have been an actual knife there. Do you know what I mean? It did play on my mind. The missus was like, oh, you dealt with that well and all that. So, you know, gave it all whatever, got through my shift. But once we got home, she closed the pub out. Obviously, we got a taxi home. Once we came in, sat down, I said, right, that incident, I was like, I turned around. So literally, when I thought that was a blade, I could have physically like shat to myself. Like, oh my God, I'm literally going to face a knife. And she's like, what, did you think it was one? I said, yeah, the whole pub went quiet. She said, yeah, well, it looked like a knife to me. It was long and it was silver. Yeah. So, you know, it's just like,
doesn't it, that at that time, I guess you were probably going to the gym quite a bit, so you would have been, you know, quite fit. You're 6'6". Just goes to show, you know, everybody feels danger in situations like that. It doesn't matter what your size, what your training is. You know, you're still going to feel. And if you didn't, then there's something wrong with you. You're a psychopath.
Yeah, I was probably near a 16 stone then. I'm probably about 11 now. So, you know,
So
it was a lot bigger.
You would be a unit, as I believe the term is.
Yeah, my shirt was tight around my arms. Now, if I put that shirt on, it literally hangs. Like my arms are just like nowhere near like what they used to be, and that worries me. You know, so I'd still defend my missus with my life, but I just that confidence thing. I don't know because it's been such a while, but maybe in that it's instinct. I'm always about protecting people, so you know maybe it'll kick in. But yeah, because Ace come round yesterday for that mouse.
Did she? Oh, brilliant!
Guess what? The first thing she said when I the door's already open. My granddaughter opened it again, and I had the mouse, and I went right. The mouse. Guess what? The first thing she said.
How tall you are.
She went, "Gosh, you are tall."
No, the reason that I knew that she'd say is because my ex was 6 foot tall, and people would always say to her constantly, "Oh, you're tall." So I knew if you're that height, I knew exactly what to expect there, and it used to piss her off.
Oh, but yeah,
I'm glad Ace came down. That's good.
Yep, I've seen her now.
You're
I'm not
doing
giving
good
a
work.
description or anything.
No, you're doing good work that's translating out into the real world. And I completely understand what you said about the sort of confidence thing, because I'm guessing from your perspective, it's, you know, you haven't, hello, Richard, you haven't fought in a war, trained, you're not the same size. So obviously you don't feel that you could do the same job. And I can completely relate to that, because I wouldn't want to go into a classroom full of 30 teenagers right now. No way, because for exactly the same reason, because I haven't done it for that long, and I haven't got I don't have the pace anymore. I don't have the memory that I had, you know, 10 years ago. So I completely understand it. But if I were in a situation where it were life or death, which is obviously never going to happen, but, you know, I'm sure I'd get through it.
Yeah, that's basically it. But, you know, people say, like, that's what wound me up when I was on the Vindicate, and he said, "You like going to threaten me?" And I was like, "No, I wasn't. I was going to say, like, as an ex-doorman, you can say what you like. It's water off a duck's back. I've had more physical altercations that would worry me, but he blew it all out of proportion, which bugged me. But I would never sit here and claim that to be Mr. Hardman. I mean, back when I was on the doors, I'll be a lot more confident in what I said, but I still, even then, you know, it's like." You look at certain people, think, Christ, he looks rough, and they're like the most nicest people you've ever met. I was probably more like one of them.
Yeah, you can't judge people's looks. You really can't judge people on their. Absolutely agree with that. One last question I wanted to ask about the doors, because it is really interesting. I would like to find out more about it, but I understand it's probably a bit difficult to talk about some things, so I won't pry. But what I did wonder is, for anyone who's watching, if they find themselves in a situation where someone is posing an immediate threat, what would you suggest to them is the best thing that they could do?
What sort of threat are we talking about? Verbal, a knife, possibly a gun? What threat?
So someone who, for example, is threatening immediate violence in the street, for example.
Genuinely, for their own safety, don't get involved. Step back. Make sure you just step back. If there's a wall, put the wall against your back and just stand there. You can't be taken from behind without sounding sexual there.
It depends if you have hands that might try
and
it.
then, yeah, and all you need to do, like, none of this, I mean, pulling your phone out and filming it rubbish, but I know sometimes it's good to have the evidence, so I get that, but literally step back and just watch. Do not approach, do not do nothing, because the chances are those sort of people, if it's a street attack, they sort of run at people and then they stop and walk back, and then they run at someone else and back, but they don't actually do anything. Now, if you were then to react to that and run towards him, the chances are he may then carry out any type of violence because you've then, you know, shown it to him. So for anyone's safety, please do not get involved. Just step back, run, hide behind a car. Don't care. Just get out the way. Like, you got a family, life goes on. This is just one idiot. It's not worth trying to be a hero. someone like me, I wouldn't take my own advice. I'm an idiot, but I like to protect people, and I would have it in me that I do possibly have what it takes to maybe diffuse this situation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let an idiot like me step up, but you want to go home, you want to see your wife, your kids, and your brothers, your sisters. So genuinely, Jake, don't get involved. Step back and watch.
No, that's a brilliant answer. And that's exactly the answer that if someone had asked me, even without that experience, that's exactly what I would have said. So it's really interesting that you have said that. And you're right, there are certain people who do have the training or they have the physique where they might be able to do something like that, but most people aren't. And let's be honest, most people, once they're an adult, haven't been in any fights, they haven't been any violence, they might have given it a bit of verbal, but most people haven't had a scrap since they were at school. So
exactly.
I think most people aren't really up for a fight.
We had an incident.
One
in
of them
our
in
local
throat. One of them in
Tesco.
the throat. See that doesn't bend at all.
Damage. We had an incident. I think it was Asda, or was it Tesco? Oh, either way, it's a supermarket, and this bloke's going mental in there. And this video went viral, I believe. And people were stepping back, and he's giving it all this. This geezer walks straight up, grabs him, boom, bang, smacks him right on the deck. Some people come over as if to try and get him off him and protect the aggressor, which did, but the bloke that done it, I've seen him work the doors, so that's why he's done what he's done. And he literally diffused the situation because Mr. Hardnut all of a sudden was on the deck and his back and his arm was behind his back, and it was done. But he was pushing stuff and giving it all this, and this literally Storman, obviously, work mode kicked in. He's literally just walked straight up, boom, bang, hit the deck, done. But Joe Public can't do that, and like what we said, don't do that. Don't even.
This has been known to go through 2 beer mats.
Really?
Yeah, and a melon.
Watch out.
Watermelon skin straight, no problem.
Watch yourself.
I know. Then you'd be afraid of chuffing killing some bugger. You know what I mean? Even their throat could collapse the chuffing esophagus, couldn't it? Not esophagus, but the breathing pipe.
Do you miss it, Wiz? Do you miss the adrenaline, or are you happy to be out of it now?
A bit of both, to be honest. Because a lot of the doors have got worse, and they're quite dangerous. And now, with a wife, kids, grandkids, it's a bit different. Or when I was a bit younger, I wasn't that much younger. I was still on the door in my 40s, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I maybe think different since my heart attack. Like, I can understand how important family and life is, and it's just not worth giving your life up for a £10 an hour stood on a door. It doesn't ring the same with me.
So has it made you kind of, I guess, feel, I suppose, a bit more vulnerable, I guess?
Yes. I used to think, anyone say, oh, like you're smoking the cigarettes, they're bad for you, whatever, mate. It's just like we're invincible, aren't we? Oh, hang on, you had a heart attack because you're smoking. Oh, it's always thinking, oh, it's never me, it's always someone else. No, it's you, mate. Okay, lesson learned. Do you know what I mean? And if I go on smoking after that, then I'm asking for trouble.
So yes, that is true. You get a warning for a reason. But it reminds me of, I'm sure many people in here have seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or if they haven't, then they should. And even more of them should read it, because if you read it, it's from a completely different perspective. And it's from the perspective of the chief, who in the film is mute, can't speak, and he's deaf. But he isn't really, he's just pretending to do it. And when you see it from his perspective, what you understand is that even though he's about 6'6" as well, he's like a giant to them, but he's constantly referring to how he feels really small and how he wants to be big again. And I think that, I can kind of understand that there's an element of that in what you were saying just a moment ago, that you probably felt a lot smaller, and that must have been something that was really quite difficult to come to terms with. But you're obviously on the road to recovery from that.
Yeah, we're all good now. Not smoking, not doing anything stupid. So what was it? Good. July 24. Literally, from the moment I went in that hospital, I'll never touch another cigarette again, and don't smoke any marijuana, nothing. Just don't go near it. Don't smoke nothing now. So
No, I don't blame you, and obviously I do smoke, as does Richard, and it's really strange. It's odd that some people seem to get far more affected by it than other people do, because you get people that live to 100 who smoke 20 a day and they're perfectly fine. Other people maybe smoke 10 a day, they end up having a heart attack at 50. I don't know how it works, to be honest.
Cousin said to me yesterday, he said, do you want to go out to an 80s night? And I will all up for it. And then I said, oh, wait a minute, can I vape in the pub? He said, no, you have to go outside into the smoking yard, and it stinks outside in a smoking yard. So I said, no, I'm not going then. And he come walking in, and he'd had a crafty fag. So I said, you've been smoking? He said, me never. I said, yes, you have. He had. He'd had a fag.
We were out on a date. Don't think we've forgotten about that.
No, that were in daytime.
Oh, I see.
You see. Yeah, I got back about 3:30.
No, was it good?
Popped me head in. Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah, she's not bad at all. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. See, love is in the air this spring.
We're going on holiday in July.
Are you really?
She's got a caravan.
Oh,
we're all over that. Yeah. I can drive. You'll be all right. Oh, yeah, okay then. What? Oh, right, okay, great.
You've got it sorted now. You're living the literal dream of everyone.
There you go. Yeah.
Everyone in the chat will be very jealous of you now. Holiday, a woman, smoking away there, living the life of Riley.
I don't smoke. I can't stand smoking now. It stinks.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she don't smoke, and like, we're using this in the house. I said, don't mind this, dear, because that'd been a no-no. I'd have just gone on and never talked to her again. She said, no, it's all right. It smells lovely, actually. It smells like a Yankee candle.
Does it count as smoking?
No, not yet. No, because there's, there was that vitamin. I think it was vitamin K they used to put in it, like what Chinese brands, and used to give them popcorn lung. But I mean, you've seen how much I vape, and I don't even have a cough with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I have to say that since I started smoking the vapes, I have cut down a lot on smoking tobacco. But I only smoke a bit of tobacco with my medication.
It's there, look, saying it. E2 City Boy. If you're full screen, you can't see what's name chat going up, but because Wizards got it in that format rather than what's it. My cousin E2 City Boy. It's what the next one down actually, Wiz. It is. Yeah.
Once we've seen this video, I'll put it back up on screen. But I was just going through the Chris incident, and then we can talk. But right, let me press play on this, and let's have a look at what happens to poor old Chris.
You watched the footage yourself, did you, Chris?
Oh, I haven't though. Yeah. So literally, all I did is I said, "What you think you're doing?" And then I walk up to him. He walks up to me and he hits me. There you go. Actually, that didn't look as cool as I thought it would.
No, it didn't.
Getting punched in the face never looks as cool as you think it does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice reaction.
This is a citizen's arrest attempt, isn't it?
He hit you, and it was like 3 seconds later, he's balled up on the ground.
On it. Yeah, he was on it.
You mean good, David?
Just calm down. Just calm down.
Let it be known to everyone out there. Anyone named David is quick to drop somebody.
Yes. This is the proof. Chris, what are you doing to this poor
guy? What the heck? You were just standing up, and now you're on the bottom of the pile, man.
I actually don't remember. I think someone pushed me and I went down. But the thing, actually, no. It might have been what I did. I don't know, because I remember I was thinking I need to grab this guy and not let him go. And I think I thought, actually, I'll just fall to the floor with him, and then that way he's on the floor.
See, we have video evidence here of Chris.
I wasn't trying to hurt him or anything. I was literally just like, I'll just put him to the floor so he can't move.
Chris is fighting with an innocent man here on the ground. You can see him.
Yeah, and then
they'll lock Chris up for like 12 years for
that. Where you can see Chris laying down like under that bloke. That is probably the worst place to be, even as a doorman, because look where that bloke's head is. He's only got to move over across, and bang, he can literally headbutt you silly. Just keep headbutting you. He doesn't need his arms. His head's literally right by Chris's face. That's awful.
How dare you
tell you
blood
what
on this
my
man's
maneuver would have been
nice
there?
jacket?
Yeah, I'd have bit his ear off.
Hurt his feelings.
Why did you attack his fist with your face?
Yes, look, we got clear footage of you nose butting his fist.
Nobody.
Someone call the police, man. Someone call the police. Call the police, man. Someone call the police, man. Oh!
What are they all doing?
Guy
Either
holding
this would be straight into his ear hole. This would be straight into his ear hole.
Lesbiano.
That's me.
Someone call the Oh. Someone call the police on this guy.
Who is this sheikh?
That's Sheikh Ibn Hazm. He comes to Speaker's Corner and he thinks it's okay for 50 or 60-year-olds to have sex with 9-year-old girls.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the thing we don't
probably
Isn't he on camera with
Dawa guys?
Isn't he with Adadawa and stuff?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's part of. Oh, Ali Dawa was here, by the way. I don't know if that was.
No, I
caught
saw
on camera.
I saw Ali Dawa and some of the other clips.
Yeah.
This guy has got nothing on shaky booty. Gotta say that.
Oh, he's
By the way,
his face
that
in
guy
it.
in the red there, he records. I can't remember what channel it's for, but he's a Speaker's Corner camera guy. He records for the Dawa teams. There are a lot of Dawa guys with cameras here as well.
Why are they protecting this guy? Oh, look what he done this. Oh, please.
State of
That's
that.
pretty cool, please.
Crazy
Oh,
white
yeah.
men and
Wow.
Animal.
Blood is, that's definitely a cut because it was coming out of his nose, it'd be going right down his face, wouldn't it? It's all over the show. That looks really bad though, doesn't it?
Broken for sure, isn't it?
That's actually a thumbnail to this video.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
What I want to know is what was going through that kid's mind. You know, what made him think that that is acceptable, that you just can walk up to somebody and then throw a punch at them?
He's basically probably 99% sure that he insulted Muhammad.
Yeah. And now the reason
That's
that
probably
would do that is because of, as I've mentioned this before, it's called identity fusion. There's a psychological theory by a guy named William Swan. I think it's William, but definitely Swan, where your beliefs and your identity become as one. And it's something that is Islam is very susceptible to it because if anyone has seen Nuria Khan's latest video, she does a really good bit towards the end where she talks about why Islam isn't a religion. And she says that a religion is just your beliefs, it's a moral system, and basically it's just a code for living, whereas Islam has got in it all of these other things, or it's like social aspects, economic aspects, there's the legal aspects. So unlike a religion that we understand, it encompasses everything about your entire life. And so if somebody insults their prophet, they take that as a personal insult and that instantly makes them defend it, much as in the same way as if somebody came up to you and said that your wife was, I don't know, some sort of filthy word, it's exactly the same reaction that you'd have, I think. Or, well, not exactly the same, but that's probably the closest I think we could get to understanding that mentality. And you could see what he was going to do. He didn't try and hide it. He walked straight up with him. He's quite clearly intent on giving this guy a punch in the face. And it looked to me like he threw a cheeky left and then went in with a right. So dirty tactics. And what did he think he was going to achieve by doing this?
Exactly. That's all it is on the footage, by the way, folks. So
it sounds to me this is probably someone that has lost debates or arguments with this Chris, or people that are associated with this attacker have lost arguments with them. And so he's gone in there to try and save face by showing that he's the superior man. Now, that type of mentality comes directly from Pakistani honor culture, something that's completely alien to us. So he's not just defending his prophet, he's also defending the honor of his people.
Yeah, and also Speaker's Corner never used to be a war zone, did it, until all this lot started?
No, it didn't.
Coming up.
It's definitely changed.
Very, very safe and, for debate. It's supposed to be for debate, not for fighting each other.
And
But
when they do,
too good.
you can. Oh, sorry. Go on, Wiz.
So I was going to say the debaters got too good. The Muslims had no argument against what they're saying. So what do you do when you're losing an argument?
Yeah.
Turn to
Resort to
violence.
violence, yeah.
You could literally. There's a list of strategies they use, and you could literally just write a list of them and play bingo. Islamic bingo, as tick them off as you go through them. Like Gary, they're going to say something about, but your Christianity says this, or they'll say something about the way that women are treated and how they're treated better in Islam.
Whataboutism, I think it's called.
Always whataboutism. But their favourite one, and here is your word for today, is filibuster.
Filibuster.
It's filibuster, F-I-L-I buster. And that's where somebody just talks and talks and talks and talks and throws hundreds and hundreds of points at you, and so many of them that you can't respond to them all, and it's overwhelming. And that's what you find often is the Islamic tactic. They do it to try and bully and belittle you because they haven't actually got an argument to run with. And they'll often try and do it in a way that they justify it by saying you have to understand the context. And then they'll just go on and on and on, bore the shit out of you till you've forgotten what you're actually talking about. Then they think they've won the argument. And if that doesn't happen, then you guaranteed you will see at some point they will raise their voices, they'll get closer to the person, they'll start using gestures with their hands, and they become increasingly violent in their speech and in their actions. And we've all seen the clips of them throwing punches or shoving people and all of this sort of thing. It's vile. Absolutely vile. It's not acceptable, and I really don't understand why these people aren't given specific orders that ban them from going there, because they just go there to cause trouble, and people that have watched Speakers Corners regularly will know who those people are. And as Mad Monkey Seeds has quite rightly said, if feelings get hurt, great. That's part of the point of freedom of speech. It includes the freedom to offend. And this is something when people talk about freedom of speech, they always forget the fact that it's never absolute. There are always restrictions. Like, for example, if you believe in freedom of speech, does that then mean that somebody has got the right to go to Speaker's Corner, for example, and say how correct they believe paedophilia is? Now, they shouldn't be able to do that morally, but if we believe in freedom of speech, then they should be able to do it.
Yeah, but they've got freedom of preaching religious texts, haven't they? So obviously, if that's a part of their religious text, to get away with it.
Yeah, they can get away with unbelievable paedophilia. Yes, absolutely. With talking about what's in the Quran, of course. I mean, it's openly endorsed in the Quran, from what I understand, and from what we saw on the screen the other day about what can happen to girls who are under 8, I was absolutely disgusted.
Yeah.
It was just sickening that is considered acceptable practice.
On the, I think on a post stream, I think it was his last one, I actually posted a link in the comments about Green and Pleasant Land. The name of the channel is Green and Pleasant. Yeah, either one gets it. And he did one a couple of days ago about the Fabians. You might be interested in.
Yeah.
You can tell it does do a lot of research. It's a longer format,
Yeah.
45 minutes or so.
I will have a look, because I've been looking into Fabians, and my opinion of them is that they obviously exist. Obviously, most of the Labour Party, if not all of them, are members. It's rife in the human rights lawyers area. But historically, I think that they had a bit of a slow start. Then they managed to influence Labour, who, as I've said before, had a pretty meteoric rise from nothing into getting into leadership in, I think it was 20 years, something like that. So that's hugely influential. Then they kind of went off a bit. After World War II, hugely influential again. The NHS, the welfare state. So when people back off, don't forget they did some good things as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, then again, I don't remember it slowly. Their new slogan or meme is now just a red square. with Fabian Society written in it. Now, most people are saying it's the tortoise, but it isn't. The tortoise was the original Fabian motif. Yeah. Then it went to a wolf in sheep's clothing. So what you got to remember is that they do these things slowly. So when you look at the NHS now, do you really think that that's that much of a good thing? Especially how it's not really the National Health Service, it's the International Health Service, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
When you look at it like that.
And
So
yeah,
maybe that were it, that were on their cards all along. You know, they think they're like playing Trump chess with us. You know what I mean?
I agree, and you know, we can definitely talk about the foreign influence and whether or not that's true and things like that. But it was. Let me just scroll back a bit because there was a comment in here that kind of summarized it, and it was from CL, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find it. It was about the responsibility that comes with freedom of speech. I can't find it now.
Can you not get chat up on screen as well if I'm looking at it full screen, Wiz? So I'm looking at it full screen. I've got no. Ah, that's better, Tom.
Oh, there it is. Freedom of speech comes with the duty to have substance to the claims. That's what it says. So this is why I wanted to mention it, is because my understanding of Fabianism is that, yes, all of that stuff, I understand that, and, you know, we can see things of it. But in order for us to make sure that that claim can be verified, is that we need to see observable, measurable evidence. Mm-hmm. So we can say without question, the Fabian Society directly influenced the NHS and the welfare state. Mm-hmm. Can we today trace something directly to the Fabian Society in the same way?
Yeah.
And that's where I would query what's going on. And a lot of that is because it's become harder to trace where things come from, because they go through so many different organizations to,
especially with Bitcoin coming in there.
Yeah, they want to disperse authority so nobody's accountable any longer. Yeah. And that's a very worrying trend. So I'm not saying that they're not having an influence today. What I'm saying is that in order to state that and have validity, we need to have observable, measurable evidence that directly says Fabian Society are responsible for this, or Gordon Brown, for example, deliberately put into place this policy influenced by Fabian thinking. Yeah. Then you've got a very, very clear case. And
yes, you were very interested in that documentary that I've mentioned, Green and Pleasant Land. I'll post link again afterwards, and then just come back to this video, and then you'll find it. It should be somewhere at the top. Yeah.
Please, I'm always interested in things like that, because conspiracy theories are something that I've been interested in.
I don't like it. I mean, I keep up with them. I've got to keep up with them because of 51st dates. You know, he hasn't been around for a fortnight, so I've got a fortnight worth of his brainwashing that I've got to try and filter through. Yeah. Next time it comes. But yeah.
Conspiracy theories are always based on some aspect of truth. They're in a vacuum. Yeah. And they are fascinating. They really are. As we'll find out when we talk about Rendlesham Forest, there's all sorts of things linked in with that. But you mentioned the NHS and the foreign influence. I don't have the data with me, but I know I have looked up in the past about the percentage of foreign doctors and nurses, etc., and people who are earning over 100k a year. And it, as I said to Chrissy, it's fuck all. It's about 6% of the migrant population. If you average it out, as far as I remember, there wasn't a clear figure that said there are this many people that do it, but there was enough data to be able to draw an observable sort of average from it, which was about 6%, which is absolutely.
Is this people that work for the NHS, or people who take from the NHS, who are part of this country, really?
Sorry. So yeah, when I was speaking about the number just then, I meant specifically the amount of migrants that earn over 100k. I couldn't find anything where you could look at doctors and nurses. It wouldn't split them up. So obviously the figure looks much higher than it would actually be.
But I'd say a migrant who's earning that amount of money, I'd say that they did it through a legal route and filled in a proper visa and everything, you know. But my international HS is because they're basically rocking up on our shores and getting free medical.
Well,
so, in which case the NHS would never work because it's international.
Yeah, there's a bit of a giveaway in the title in national, isn't there? It's not national, exactly. It's national. And if you're international, then you automatically, by default, do not have the right to that system. Now, could there be a workable system where people pay into it to access it? Yes, there probably is, and that might help to pay off some of the debt that it accrues. But certainly, absolutely not. Under no circumstances, unless it is literally life or death, should any foreign national have access to any of our health services, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, because it's paid for in a national pot by national insurance numbers.
Yeah.
Your national insurance payments that everybody has to pay. I think they're even accrued to you when you're actually signing on. Social pay your national insurance, but even so, that's still a drain on the system, really. Especially if you're foreign and you're not even planning on getting a job here.
And it used to really, really piss me off when I'd get my wage slip and I'd seen it, national insurance, and it was about 370 quid a month.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, not only that, but say if I was still smoking tobacco at £23.50 a patch, right? If I go over to Germany, where my sister lives, and I bought tobacco there, exactly the same brand, right? Exactly the same. In fact, no, I think that's actually 50 grams. It's about £7.
Yeah, it is,
because they have to pay a private health thing. So if this dude Theo wants a proper cap on it, right? The dentist won't do it for me. He left it like that, not like the same size. He left it like that, and he said, "Oh yeah, you'll have to pay private for that." So I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm having to pay VAT and all these taxes and everything in this country for the NHS. So, but you're telling me to go private, and it's not any cheaper. Because take into account that I'm paying tax and everything. Do you get me? So some of that is for the NHS as well. So
what would you say to something like? I mean, this is just an idea. Obviously we can test it out. But what if, for example, there was a fee introduced to see a GP, a flat 20 quid fee? Everyone pays it. If you don't turn up for your appointment, you pay 50 quid fine.
Yeah.
Either that might make a difference to people using the service.
Yes, I wouldn't bother.
You wouldn't bother with it. Why not?
Because I've got to see the doctor quite often because of my heart and that, and that costs me a fortune. I'll be like, nah, just don't worry about it.
Okay, in that case, then for situations like that, what if there were something in place that obviously you don't have to pay towards that? It's just literally for GP appointments, your standard one.
Surely they must have a record of how much tax or national insurance people have paid. So maybe if they haven't paid any national insurance, then maybe that ought to be a thing.
Yeah. If they haven't put into the pot, they can't take out the pot.
Exactly, because that's what it's based on. You know what I mean? It's
now,
based
how would that work though? If for somebody who, for example, was unable to work and was on benefits and therefore they by default wouldn't have paid into it, would they still get access to it because of their situation, or would they have to pay, do you think?
I think it'd be fair I think it'd also be, I think you'd have to bring in the stipulation that doctors have to sign you off on disability rather than just a decision maker that you talk to on a telephone in the NHS, not even NHS, in social security officers. I don't think that's fair.
It's flexible enough though that idea could possibly have some value.
Depending on.
I mean, 20 quid for a fee doesn't sound. It's not a huge amount to have to pay, and it might help to improve the services by putting more money back in to make up for all these people that are using it at the moment. I mean, obviously, going forward, what you would want to see is that stops immediately, and then do you see what I mean? So this is a way to then kind of make up that money. It's not meant to be a permanent situation, and it would only be for those that could afford to do it.
Yeah, but it's verging on privatisation of the NHS, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the reason we're asking these questions at the moment is because we're an international health service.
Well, that's getting to the core of what my point is really is the NHS is great. You know, regardless of people moaning about it, it does offer a good service for most people most of the time. And yes, you do have to wait, and yes, it's a bit grotty, but they generally are good. The staff are absolutely brilliant, and you know, you can't fault the people on the on the shop floor, so to speak. And it's not their fault that they're working in those conditions. But is it a luxury that we can't afford anymore? Is it just throwing billions away that we could actually put to better use, like, for example, building houses or on defence?
But building houses for who?
For
for the same people who have caused the NHS prices to start rising.
Not those people. I had an idea of this: a national housing project where people get their mortgage reduced if they're married, they get it further reduced if they have a child. And if they have 3 children, then their mortgage gets wiped off.
3 kids, you get mortgage wiped off.
Yeah, but you have to remain married. That would try and bring in the family unit, you know, as something for people to aim for. It makes home ownership actually, you know, something that they can achieve. Yeah. Because if they were married, for example, and wanted to start a family, they would instantly get priority housing.
Yeah, but I mean, we'd have to first of all get enough houses that there's a surplus, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we would.
We're not going to do that with thousands of people, millions flooding our coasts.
You would have to, first of all, you'd have to clear out the weeds, so to speak, and then you could then plant the new seeds. Yeah.
See, Gordon Brown brought in bedroom tax. You know what I mean? That's £17.50 per bedroom. I mean, luckily it's capped at 4 bedrooms, I think it is.
Well, so I don't know about how you feel about this, but I think we really need to look at our taxation system here, because we're having the piss taken out of us. You mentioned a moment ago about tobacco. It's £50 if you want a 50-gram pouch. You can get one for about €9 in Europe, as you've quite rightly said. You know, we should not be paying tax like that. We are getting absolutely ripped off. And yes, I know it's a luxury item. Yes, it's harmful. And yes, okay, some people think it should be taxable. Fair enough, but not that much. No. Same with fuel, same with alcohol, same with food. Because we're not just getting taxed once. We're getting taxed on top of tax, on top of tax, and then on top of tax again. Yeah. And then our identity is being used online, and that's getting extracted value from as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's like when I go into Tesco's or whatever, I do not use them self-checkout things. Where's my £12.50? If I'm going to sit here, right, for half an hour, scanning my own shopping, for a start, my grocery bill hasn't gone down. If anything, it's gone up since you've put these bloody things, these robots in. Yeah. And where's my tenner for scanning my own shop? Because you've no need to pay someone at a cashier's till, you know, in order to process my groceries. I'm doing it for you. Where's my money? None.
I never use those things. Never. They always go anyway.
Yeah.
I'd much rather go and speak to a person. The same with when you try and phone a company, where all you want to do is speak to someone, and you get told, "Oh, for this, dial 1, dial 2. Your call is important to us." Is it fuck? Yeah. Just put me through to someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
That annoys me. Excuse me.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. Or your automatic. Yeah. Where do you want your phone call to go to? Automatic thing. You know, you can tell it's an AI voice. Then you've got to say, you know,
yeah,
whatever. Leicester Square. No,
yeah.
An old program called Phone Jack. And it's got this old guy, like, you know, it's sitting talking to this AI shit, and he's just going, Leicester Square. Like, just chatting.
Well, I had a thing not so long ago. I had to contact the police over a trivial matter, nothing worth getting into, and I phoned up, you know, the local branch, Suffolk Police. So, you know, I was given the correct number through 111, and you get on there and it says, please use the online chat.
Yeah.
So there's obviously no one using the phone. So on their website, online chat, not available. So you have no option to speak to anyone or to even report an incident. Absolutely.
when I got dropped off at Manchester Airport, and you know, you just pull up, just got my case out, and he drove, and cousin drove off, like, you know. I got back from my holiday, £60 fine he'd got for not paying the £2.5 quid, I think £4 actually. But you have to do it with one of them QR codes. Them QR codes. Oh, I can't be doing with it. I don't need another app on my telephone. Oh, Bobby, all right. Can't be doing with another app on my chuffing telephone. So, you know, and we didn't even notice signs anyway. You know, I mean, you got a QR code like a postage stamp, you know, like, and you're supposed to see that. But every single person I've ever known, right, who I've said this to, you know, oh yeah, I did same. It's just like a learning curve that you've got to get used to. So next time we'll know. But yeah.
Bobby, good to see you again.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, I've just been sitting here just trying to chill out on a Sunday. Hope you all well, Wizard, Richard, Jake.
Back for more then, Bobby. You won't put off by our questions.
Yeah, no. I was just watching. I know I did. You know, I did just get mesmerized, and I was just watching for a while. Just got engrossed for a bit. Yeah. Oh, what's I saying? Yeah, you guys were talking about tax, didn't it? It was yeah, it's getting a bit heavy, isn't it? Too much tax, man.
Yes.
Too much jizya.
Too much jizya.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Too much jizya. Yeah. See.
If they put on council tax,
thing.
But if we don't pay this jizya, we get locked up. We don't get murdered.
Yeah. Good. If you pay,
they got to convert to anything.
But hold on, what's the tax rates generally? There's a tax rate for your wages. There's a tax rate on when you purchase certain items. There's a separate tax, like you guys are saying, on tobacco and fuel. And so what if it was all just 5%?
And it's not just that either. You've got things like the interest rates. They're also a tax of sorts. And no one's asking for
it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
They are. Fuck all.
What do you mean by 5%? Why? What have you got planned? Well, you're saying that we could all just be charged 5% tax on everything, and everything would run absolutely swimmingly under a government that you run. What you on about?
No. I was just playing. I was kidding with you a bit. I was just saying, like, you know, in terms of like, at least the positive side would be the lesser rate, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, country can't run on the rates that they're charging us at the moment. So, you know.
Oh man, charge.
Well, let's try and think about
charge an arm and leg, literally, yeah.
Charge me even more, look, because I've got less on the end of my arm.
Oh yeah, you'll only have to pay half rate then.
They'll have to take that and 2 fingers.
But you see, we have to be able to make these sort of jokes in order for us to get anywhere, and it's good that we can do that, and that's great. But let's have a think about what the problems are that we have and how we can try and sort them. Because that's the thing that I think really we need to do. So for me,
it's a huge task, isn't it? I mean, there's so much going. You know the sad thing is like, you look at everything, right? Jobs, NHS, schooling. There's not like one thing where we say, you know what, we're good at something, or we're proud of this. At least we're running this right. Do you see what I mean? That's the saddest thing of it all. Like, if there was one thing we say, you know what, NHS ain't that good, this ain't that good, but at least the schools are really good.
There is one thing.
Do you know what I mean? And the teachers are really good. You know what I mean?
Muslims are taking over our schools and all, mate. They're educating our 7-year-olds and taking them to mosques.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I did not like seeing that picture of those kids doing the prayers. That, to me, that was wrong. Now, it might be the case that maybe they were just showing them how to do it, and I'm sure somebody said they didn't say any words or anything like that. And just seeing that image is obviously very emotive in itself. So we are kind of exaggerating the event itself, but the principle of it was really shocking, I thought.
And bearing in mind, of course, all schools are, well, most schools are left-wing teachers. I think we've got a rarity in Jake because he's more right leaning than most that left is and woke is.
Yeah,
In
the thing is though,
yeah.
what
they
if
don't-
you want to take Muslims from, you know, we're all at school, say, just pick any London school or any school in the UK, and say, right, we're having a day out, and then when the kids get home, the little Muslim women, oh, not women, are they? They're at school. The Muslim girls and boys go home. Oh, today we spent 2 hours in a church. What do you think would happen? That the parents will go mental. Like, whoa, hang on a minute. We've been trying to teach you about Islam since birth, and they're going to take you to a church.
I think the hardliners would do with. I think
But
the
then they
hardliners.
wonder
would do,
why
but I don't think
7-year-olds are taken to a mosque.
I don't think
When they're
Pleasant
supposed to be
Country would
Christian.
do that.
There should have been
Would you?
some sort of parental involvement there, and you know, I'm sure
Yeah.
Bobby, you'd like to consent to your son or daughter being taken or not taken to a Christian church. Surely you'd like your school to say, Bobby, would you like your children involved? Yes or no?
And would you
What,
mind
would
that, Bobby?
police
Would you actually,
that-
you know?
Yeah.
that would
Yeah. No, with me personally, I know a lot of Muslims probably like don't like, you know, let's say going to other religious sites or whatever, or other places of worship. Some of them might have a little bit of issue with it. I don't see any issue with it in terms of from a place of my religion. I don't know whether what it is exactly what puts them off from going and learning about other people. Like, you see, when I went to school in Luton, yeah, I had no problems going to like church or anything like that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because it was kind of a little bit parts of the school when I grew up.
Yeah.
So these things are what you guys are talking about now. It's like they've done extra.
Yeah. Those things are part of our.
Sorry, now the reception's a bit bad again. Yeah, I think it's mine as well. Mine is a bit rubbish. Yeah, if it gets a bit bad, I'll go upstairs in my room, innit? But yeah, no. For example, like they used to, in religious studies in school, they taught us in books, this is how Muslims pray, this is how Christians pray, and they showed us videos on the TV with a big box sometimes. There was nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean?
The one
and yeah, but me personally, I mean, shall I be honest with you guys? Yeah, the first time I went to a mosque was when I moved to South London. Like in Luton, I never went to a mosque.
So what age?
The whole time I was there. Yeah, which is strange. So like, obviously, most of my friends were Christians. Some of them were Jews, but I didn't.
How old were you at that point, Bobby?
Yeah, so back then, obviously, you guys got to understand the work of the. Oh man, these receptions.
So we can still hear you.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
It keeps stopping and starting because the reception's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys, man. The reception's bad. It keeps stopping and starting. I hope my sister ain't messing around with the Wi-Fi, man.
I'll blame the Jews, mate. It's
Yeah.
Jews.
So basically, where was it? Yeah. So basically, I used to visit church. I used to visit churches and that in primary school and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
We used to do stuff like go choir and all that. So I used to just go along with it anyway because I used to get out of school and go with my best friends and that. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I was all right with it like that. And I think even my brothers and sisters and that, they were all right with it. And when I moved to London, that's when I first started to go mosque and that as well, and start visiting, start finding out more things. In terms of like learning in school and taking people and then making them actually do the actions, I think that's a bit wrong.
Yeah.
Usually, if there's like a school trip or a school outing, if they're going to leave the premises, at least you get a note home saying that, by the way, we're going to be visiting this place, and then you take the letter home and you show your parents and they sign it off or whatever, right? And you take it back.
Yes, then believe me, they're a pain in the arse. Notes. You have to do risk assessment, all kinds of things. So I did very few school trips for exactly that reason.
Jeez, bro, my internet's going absolutely crazy. Let me switch it on and off.
Yeah.
What, mate? I think so. I've got no issue, like, before anyone starts attacking me, I've got no issue about learning about anything, because to me, I've said how many times, you know, like the Hindu culture, the Chinese culture, I think it's great. It's really interesting, and how, or not just what they believe, it's why they believe. And then, okay, yes, understand Islam. That's not a bad thing. As long as one, you're told the truth, and two, they're not 7 years old. They need to be a little bit more compos mentis. I mean, what?
You've just mentioned the exact word that I wanted to bring into things as well, which is truth. Because I don't think that we do get told the truth. I think that there is a lot of lying and deceit that goes on, and it is done deliberately by some people. And
yes,
it is interesting learning about it. I mean, let me put things into context from my experience. I know anecdotal evidence isn't, sufficient, but for me, I never even met a Muslim until after I'd finished university. So I was probably about 22, 23. And that was when I did my teacher training, and I moved to Coventry because I was at the University of Warwick doing it, and that was where I first encountered Muslims. And I met a chap there who was a good bloke. He taught me about Islam, good friend of mine. And when I got my first job, we ended up in the same area, and so for a while had a flat share. So that's how I understand Islam, is through what I learned from him. But obviously, I got the story that everyone gets, which is about how good it is. I never got any of the bad stuff. I found that out later on.
Yeah.
I know their games.
Yeah. But I think it's deliberate by them saying the good only.
Is it deliberate, or is it just the fact that most of them don't bother reading their own scripture?
Well, I would.
If I was Muslim, how about me come up to you, Jake, and say, "Hi, yeah, I'm a Muslim. Islam's great. Have you ever thought about it?" No. Well, let me tell you, Muhammad, he was between 54 and 57. He married a 6-year-old, had sex with her when she was 9. There's you say Aisha was scraping the semen off his clothes. Would you fancy being a part of it?
Yeah, but how does it normally know that?
It would be tough to turn it down, wouldn't it? It's a tough choice.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That they must know in their head. If, mind you, though, there's a lot that probably aren't even aware of said hadiths.
Exactly.
And some are Quran only. But even in there, it says the Quran said, if you're married and you're going to divorce, obviously you've got to be careful in case they're pregnant. So wait 3 months, and even if you haven't started your period, so to speak, then you wait 3 months as well. Like, what are you doing if you haven't started your period, having sex? That's in the Quran. But they're going to deliberately not say that to you.
So what Jake said earlier, that as long as they're not getting lied to, as long as the kids aren't getting lied to, who tells the Ummah that he's not telling lies? Because in his mind, he isn't telling lies because it's written in his holy book.
And there's one thing I'd really like to know about, and I haven't found a satisfactory answer for it, which is why can't they leave people's bits alone? Why do they have to go hacking off people's cocks and fannies? Why?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Leave them alone.
Yeah. But I suppose in a way they're not lying because they're not mentioning it. If you don't mention it, you can't lie.
Yeah, but same can be said for Jewish because they are always circumcised, don't they?
But the
all seems to be a Middle East thing, doesn't it? All seems to be a Middle East thing.
Couldn't wash in the desert, I would imagine. But also the other thing is
there he is.
He's back.
To them, that was the context. So,
yeah, my internet is just bloody so rubbish, man. It's every time I try to do something like do anything like this, it always goes messed up.
Yeah.
Well, get off the Jewish network. Come on, mate.
Yeah, that's what it was, but I thought I couldn't say it, man, in case you don't strangle me.
No, I wondered, Bobby, how old were you when you first went to mosque?
Me, I was about 14, 15.
Oh, so it was quite late.
Yeah, it was quite late for me. That's what I mean. See, when I grew up, when I was young and that, how there's so many Muslims and how prevalent Islam is, yeah? It wasn't like that when I was growing up.
Right.
When I was growing up, it was just like I was one of the very few.
Okay.
Do you see? Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, it was during that period where you kind of had to explain what a Muslim was or what Pakistan was. Do you get it?
Explaining how I never even met anyone who was a Muslim till I was in my early 20s.
I didn't even realize I was looking at a Muslim. I just thought they were Indian, in corner shops. I just thought it were them guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly. You know, you just, even with me, like I was kind of, because obviously my background, obviously, South London, originally from Luton.
Yeah.
My parents, Kenyan and dad Pakistani, but before that they were from India as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if that makes sense, so it's a bit of like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the sort of setup at home regarding religion? And was it something that you openly practiced or talked about, or was it more like a sort of just expected that you were Muslim, you know, like a cultural thing, or did you go to after?
it was more of a cultural thing in my house, but I think there was a thing where my mum would stop my dad from kind of talking about religion
Right.
at times. I think what it was, I think my mum, because she thought that Islam's kind of complicated to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
If that makes sense,
Yeah.
especially for kids at that time, and that she thought maybe it's a bit too much or a bit complicated to be speaking about these things at that age.
Yeah.
She had that awareness. Maybe not a lot of Muslim mums, because what happened with a lot of kids that age, because when I discovered, let's say, the Asian part of Luton, I discovered that later in my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
The odd Muslim kids and that I knew, they went to after school Muslim school.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, you know, obviously some people might go after school maths class and after school whatever, tuitions and all that. Yeah. So with Muslims, they'd kind of go to after school Muslim school.
Yeah.
So they'd spend a couple of hours doing so. I never did that kind of stuff. Do you see what I mean? So I'd ask mom, so how comes like so and so goes to Muslim school and that after school and on Saturday and that, and how comes you don't send me? And my dad goes, yeah, we should send him and that. My mom's like, no, don't send him and stuff, right? And then, like, my mom really want to go to school on a Saturday, probably. I was like, no. He goes, and shut up.
So it sounds like you had much more of a hybrid background where you were aware of British culture.
This is the thing. My mum was quite religious.
Okay.
And very cultural, but because her mum was very religious, like my nan. But my mum was very gentle with it. My mum was kind of gentle with that kind of. I think my mum got a bit lucky because we're generally quite nice guys anyway. Like, you know, as in me and my brothers and sisters, we're
it does come across that way. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, kind of nicey people anyway, generally, right?
Yeah. Is it a bit like what Lubna once described her mum as being a bit like that, and how she would dress in a Western way to try and fit in? Were your parents like that, or did they have the dress and that sort of thing?
No, my mum used to wear mainly Asian clothes, but when she was a little bit younger, like, well, when I remember her as a baby, sometimes she did wear like English trousers and English clothes. But that was just around just when I was a toddler, and then soon after that she just wore Asian clothes generally.
Yeah.
And she'd cover her head sometimes, maybe just sometimes in the cold. Sometimes there's a bunch of blokes around, she might do it.
Was this around 1979?
Them days were much simpler as well, though, Jake. Do you know what I mean? People were a lot more, you know, from what I remember, a bit more gentle natured than that anyway. But especially from where I was from my little village thing. Do you know what I mean?
And what was Luton at that point? Like, was the Muslim population quite small and sort of spread out at that point?
Yeah, basically, bro, it's going to sound a bit odd and a bit confusing. Obviously, I was a bit of a child, so I didn't fully understand certain things about areas, distance, and this kind of stuff, right? So that's why it might sound a bit jumbled sometimes when I've said things in the past. So my thing was in Luton, where I grew up, in Dunstable, it was all English people and white people, Scottish people, Irish people, right? Mainly. And there was a few Jews here and there, which I didn't know they were Jews, but obviously as I grew up, I understood that they were Jews, if that makes sense, from their name and certain things they did or whatever. But generally, I just thought they were all white people, and some of them got Irish accents, some of them got Scottish accents. That's, you know, do you see what I mean? And that was it. So there was even that part of it, you know, like, oh, you know, I'd go to my friend Michael's house and I'd say to my brother, oh, he's got a different accent, he doesn't speak English like everyone else, and then he explained to her they're from another part from Scotland, and you know, all of those things. But yeah, you're saying something to me about so where I grew up in Luton, it was all kind of English people, and then when we want to, let's say, mix with Asian people or have like Asian community around us, whatever, sometimes my dad every couple of weeks would drive us up to like London to see my cousins and my uncle and that in like Wembley and stuff, and we'd go there and sometimes, you know, go and get kebab from South or that kind of thing. Yeah, because you thought it's, you know, stop us from feeling left out. Yeah, but in all that time, I didn't know up the road in Luton there was like an Asian part of Luton.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
So it was a bit weird. So that's what I meant by distance. So my dad used to take us to Wembley to meet Asian people, then and to mix with Asians and whatever, other friends and whatever, and then my dad lost his job in Vauxhall because my dad used to work in Vauxhall, right, in the factory in Luton.
Of course. Yeah.
So he lost his job there, and then when he lost his job there, he opened a shop in the Asian part of Luton.
Yeah.
When I was around about 8, 9, something like that. That's when I discovered that there was an Asian part to Luton. Right. So I was aware of Wembley first and Southall, like basically coming from Dunstable, going up the M1 and going that way straight to London. I was aware of that kind of area, those areas. But then I said to my dad, "Oh, hold on, if there's Asian people just up the road in an Asian town here, how come you never brought us here or showed us around and that?" And he goes, "Oh no, I never. I think maybe because he was small, maybe because I was small, he didn't realize I've never seen it before."
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So
like all my brothers and sisters might have known about it, my older brothers and sisters, but I was like, "Oh, Dad, you know, you always took us to Uncle's house to, you know, and Auntie's house and that, you know, the mix of other Asians and stuff."
Always aware then of your cultural heritage as well as the British culture.
Yeah,
of the things happening.
Yeah, but I mean, the only thing I knew when we were growing up as kids that we weren't like to drink alcohol or eat pork, and we believed in Muhammad.
Yeah.
Right. And then some of my earliest kind of rubbings with religions was like I had like strange questions. Like one time I went to school, yeah, and then we've all got to go to the hall, right?
Yeah.
And you'll line up, you're getting ready to go to the hall, right? So then like walking towards the hall and in the queue, then all I'm hearing is this singing, yeah. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? Like, because I've never seen, like, remember, I haven't seen any religion then, so I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen nothing. I think I've seen Hinduism prior to that because we'd watch a lot of Bollywood films ever since I was born. So I kind of assumed I was probably Hindu in a kind of way as well. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Because for those guys that look like me and this is what they're doing, they're eating the same food we're eating. Okay, Dad, I get it. That's where we're from. That's why you're showing us these tapes. You know, again, so we don't feel too weirded out by being the only Asians in the town or whatever, yeah? Right, but we were big on the Bollywood film. So then, what was we saying? Yeah, so you said about we just knew about those basic rules, and then I had this experience going into the hall, and then as I walk in, I see obviously a man, you know, on a cross bleeding, and I look up and I freak out. I'm like, what's going on here? Do you see what I mean? Yeah, so then then the teachers goes, "Go on, everyone queue up at the back," you know, and you all go in the back and then like, start joining in on the singing. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And everyone's looking up here at this guy on the cross singing. And like, I just got confused. So that whole day I was just weirded out, right? So then I come home, my dad goes to me, because I'm going to go ask Dad what's going on. I goes, "Dad, can I ask you something?" Got home. There's something really weird happening in school today. He goes, "What is it?" He goes, "In the morning, they took us in this hall, and everyone's looking at this guy on a cross singing to him. And he goes, I guess I'm telling you, Dad, it's really happened in school, what's going on?" And the guy's bleeding out, right? And he goes, and my dad's kind of giggled a bit, and I goes, "What's going on? What is that?" He goes, "Oh no, that's Jesus." And that. And I goes, "Oh, who's that?" He goes, "Oh, that's who they believe in this country." And I was like, "Oh." I goes, "All right, so who was he and this and that?" And he tried to tell me a little bit, and then my mum goes, "Shut up," like, you know what I mean? My mum was a bit like that, right? Like, you're gonna scare him kind of thing, right? Like, do you get it, right? And I just got, a bit, and then slowly I started to kind of pay attention slowly about religion and that as I grew. And then on the TV, my mum, when I see the Bollywood actor, I say, "Oh, Mum, I see the Hindu goes, Mum, what's this then? Do we believe in this?" And I say, "Mum goes, no, we don't believe in this." And I go, "So what do we believe?" Because we believe in God, we believe in Allah. And I goes, "All right, so what does Allah look like?" He goes, "Oh, nothing. Like, we don't have an image of him."
Yeah, let me draw you a picture.
Well, I'm digging and digging and digging. You know what these questions you lot would ask as well, And I'm just thinking, I was doing this stuff as a kid. Yeah. So then obviously I've grown up, I've got all the answers I kind of need, like in a sense, as much as I could, grasp. Let's say.
This is strange to me, really strange, because where I grew up, I went to a very small primary school. There's only about 60 kids there. It was a Catholic primary school, so you had to say prayers at the beginning and the end of every day and at lunchtime, and you had to go to church every Thursday as well. So even though my family aren't Catholic or anything like that, but I was very much brought up in understanding what worship was like. I thought it was a load of bollocks. Even as a kid, I didn't believe a word of it. So, you know, that's something that hasn't changed. But I understood the principle of it. But why I had mentioned that it's strange is because it never occurred to me as a child that there would be any other sort of system of belief. And I guess for you, it was exactly the same thing. It was just your system of belief was different than the one that I had.
Yeah, that'll be honest. With religion, I always found it like it always weirded me out, but I also found it fascinating at the same time. You know, all these different religions and all the, you know what I mean? That's how I ended up obviously getting into it more. Because the more you dig, and the more you get yourself in a hole. Do you see what I mean? Is one a bit with me.
You're a question that is a challenging one, and it is putting you on the spot, and you know, take it in the spirit that it's meant. But do you honestly believe that an angel came up to a person in a cave and spoke to them?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the entire history of humanity, how many times have you known that to be verified to have happened?
You know what? When it comes to this kind of mythological stuff, when it comes to proof, the only real proof we have ultimately is if we've seen something with our own eyes and ears, right? That's the first thing. I can never prove anything beyond that point unless I've got a video saying, look, this is, do you see what I mean? And that's the kind of proof people expect now. Obviously,
there are other forms of proof, like written accounts and things like that.
Sure. And obviously I've seen, you know, for and against accounts and all these arguments, obviously following content, even things that are, let's say, criticizing Islam, because obviously if there's any criticisms, I'd like to kind of know and look into it and learn. And you know,
don't get me wrong, I'm not looking at pointing and finding holes in your religion. I'm just trying to understand where your beliefs come from.
Yeah, no, because obviously if I believe that, I've got to believe that the same thing happened with Moses, the same thing happened with all the other prophets that had interactions with angels.
So do you believe that your prophet, now I don't believe he was a prophet myself, but I understand for you that you do believe that he was. Do you think that he is the perfect man for all time?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd say that about all the prophets. If you're lucky to be around any of them and to live in their presence,
well, including Christian
prophets. That's the best thing probably a person would want. If you're there with Jesus.
Yeah, so including
all Muhammad at the time.
Yeah.
You see,
but if you delve more deeper into your book, you'd find that everybody has to believe in your definition of the prophet. You know what I mean?
Well,
when you really delve into it, when you really look at the hadiths and stuff like that, you find that it's, you know, like the Sunday people first, which is the Jews, and then the Sunday people, which is the Christians, and then the Saturday people, which is the Jews, either convert or don't convert. But don't convert is bad. Or pay the jizya. And I can't afford any more tax, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, look. Obviously, look. Jake said this point a few times. Like Islam is a religion, and it's spirituality, and it's an economical model, and it's a way of life, and you know, it is a few things together, right? So there's all kinds of rules in there and laws, and
we've got a saying in this country, which is never mix politics and religion.
With religion. Yeah. And that's why, you know, even in work,
your belief is both of them things, and basically it causes chaos. Even in that saying, it causes chaos, and that's why people say it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that
look, I learned from a very young age, you know, from let's say my workplaces. Yeah, I mean, I was never like that anyway, to shove religion down anyone's throats. Yeah,
I know you're not.
But when I was working, people would find it weird that I was a Muslim, but I never spoke about my religion.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, "Oh, Amir, what religion are you?" I'm Muslim. He goes, "Oh, right." And then what they find fascinating goes, "Oh, because you never speak about your religion." I guess, I guess are you used to like people kind of like talking about their religion and either shoving it down your throat or that being the only aspect of their personality.
Yeah.
And that's why, because a lot of Muslims I know they'll lead with the fact that they're Muslim first, or I mean, as that's just their personality.
Their Muslim identity. Yeah.
Like with me, I can meet you in an event somewhere, Jake, in a music event, and you'd be like, "Oh, we've got this in common."
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Right?
Now, I've got a question for you, Bobby. You might not like this one, so I understand you might not like it. Now, you said you believed that Muhammad is the perfect man. How do you reconcile his behaviors with the standards and the laws that we have today? Because a lot of the things that he did are not acceptable today. I mean, for many people, when they hear about his past, they would say that he was a murderer, that he was genocidal. They would say that he was a rapist, a paedophile. I mean, how can you reconcile those behaviors with him being perfect? Because you're obviously aware.
Yeah, so this is the sad thing, because obviously my belief of Islam and the things I've learned and grown up around it, and the picture I've kind of got of it, and the information I've got, is a positive one. And the points you're bringing up is strange. It's unfortunate that it kind of comes off like that, or it looks like that. Look, in terms of the age things and all of that, with a marriage, all right. I don't think it happened the way it did. Right. Maybe that's convenient for me to say that. Maybe whatever.
You can't say that.
Yeah, but I don't think the ages was what it was.
And Bakari under the bus. You can't say that. As the Sunni,
you're not allowed to say that.
Say that. Yeah, no, but the thing is, see, like, let's say the Muslim teacher that I try to follow or speak to or learn from, let's say there's one or two, and obviously we've asked these kind of questions to him, and he told us that he believes that those parts are fraudulent.
But no.
And obviously you said that we can't say, but obviously
I'll put it up on screen for you. It's Sahih. You can't anything. It's Sahih. Your imams, your sheikh, whoever, they actually go by Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim more than any other hadiths, because Sahih means
no. I get what you guys are saying, but there's also a feeling, because we've been trying to answer this as well and trying to find out if these kind of things actually happened or not.
But I had a discussion with someone else.
That's it. This is narrated by Aisha. Sorry, Jake. Sorry.
That's quite all right. I had this conversation with someone else, and they put forward the idea that there are scholars who say that this information isn't correct. And so I will ask you the same question that I asked him, which is that view the consensus, or is that view a minority opinion?
I think here, obviously, as you know, we just follow what we try to do here with the English UK laws and that. But it is one of those things where I think it needed to be, it needs to be obviously looked at to stop any confusion regardless. I mean, I think those passages are possibly not correct or corrupt, or been additions. And obviously you're saying that as a Muslim, I'm not allowed to say that as per our rules or whatever, right? But this is maybe
under the bus.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, at the end of the day, for me to kind of even find out more of this type of information, I'd have to really want to go to loads of other parts of the world and see what they actually really believe and behave. And I know in other countries they do funny things like that, right? I'm not denying that, right? But the problem are they getting from a religion, or are they just doing it because that's how they carried on in their countries for years and years, if that makes sense?
But so this is the Quran as well. It's also in the Quran saying
the issue for us is whether it's a cultural thing or a religious thing. And for me, for me, look,
take away all the hadiths, it clearly states in the Quran for those who are not menstruating, i.e., had their period, have to wait 3 months after their marriage is ended in order to have sex again. So it's saying like they're not even the young girl is not even having their period, and that's actually in your Quran. So even if you wanted to say, oh, Quran only, I don't believe in hadiths, it's still in there. So either which way, you've got having sex with girls that haven't started the period.
So this is the thing I wanted. You know what it was as well? See with this question you gave me, like you gave it to me last time as well. And I said I was going to research it, I did a bit of it, but the only thing that I had an issue with this, I actually want to speak to a woman about it.
Okay.
To get like a more fuller picture of how they'd interpret these things, because maybe to get a fuller answer as well from a female Muslim perspective, someone that's kind of knowledgeable. Unfortunately, I don't really know any Muslim women that are knowledgeable enough to speak to. But I was going to try and.
But you don't. You only need to know Aisha, and she's the one that it says here narrated Aisha. This is Aisha talking to you as a Muslim, saying that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. That's Aisha saying it. That's probably one of the most important women in the Muslim world, Aisha. So you can't throw her under the bus as much as you can't throw Sahih al-Bukhari or Sahih Muslim under the bus. It's like, this is like 99.9% of Muslims will be like, yeah, that's what it says, and that's true. There's no one that I've ever spoke to say, oh yeah, it's Sahih, it's genuine. Okay, I don't believe it. I've never heard that one before, and I don't understand how any Muslim female, whoever she may be, will ever be up to or regarded in such a respect as Aisha. So you don't need to talk to anyone. You need to go to your hadiths and you need to look at your Quran, and it's there. The only argument people normally have, like yourself, is, oh, it was different back then. But then we ask about Muhammad being the greatest example to man of all time, and if he was alive today, he would be the equivalent of Jeffrey Epstein. So it doesn't matter which way you got it, something's not adding up here. And again,
no, I do get what you're saying, like in that, but I don't think it happened like that. I genuinely don't.
So you might not, but there are
right
other people with your religion.
But I think that's corrupted. I think that's corrupted text. Genuinely, I do.
It can't be.
Even if
highlight it. Sahih.
No, this is why I said to you. This is why I said to you.
Very, very important. And Sahih means genuine, authentic. These are the hadiths. This and Sahih.
No. But what I'd have to do is then go to proper Muslim educated, like fully Muslim countries, and say to them, look, you interpret this, and what is it?
But you don't need to. It's right here. Like, I mean, there you go. There's the Arabic there. There's the Arabic. So it's there for you.
Had it in a different way.
But I can't read Arabic.
I'm saving you a plane ticket. You don't have to go anywhere. It's right here. It's saying, let me go down a little. You see, look, number 67, wedlock, marriage, nikah. Giving one's young children in marriage. It literally says giving one's young children in marriage, and it's Sahih. That's what I'm saying to you. There's no. It doesn't matter what you say or what you're thinking. It's going to be wrong.
People might see that and follow that.
Well, let's suppose
people might see that in other countries and follow that if it's in there.
Bobby,
I don't think that happened.
Let's just
in that way.
This is sunnah.com.
Like some people may believe that.
Sunnah.com.
Yeah.
And for
I get what you're saying.
Well, does it?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think that is what actually happened. I don't think the ages were like correct in that.
Okay.
Personally,
but if they were,
even though Aisha said it herself,
even though she said it, if it were true, how would that change your opinion about your prophet? Because obviously at the moment you don't believe it, but if you saw, and I know you're rejecting this evidence here, but if you saw categoric evidence that said this is 100% true, would that cause you to rethink how you view your prophet?
No. You know what it is? That's a strange question, because obviously, like I said to you, I wasn't totally there to see everything right at them times, but like I said to you, like I can't say that I did my prophet just because I don't think it's true, innit? That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Well, let
There
me
you
put
go.
it this way. I don't believe
on
in the
screen
stories
for
in
you.
the Bible, but if someone said to me, Jesus was a nonce, I would say, fuck that, I'm not following him. And
I'll
if we
read
apply
this
that
for you.
here-
Can I just read? Sorry, Jake. Sorry.
No, not at all.
Highly reliable source of hadith. Sahih al-Bukhari is considered a highly reliable
Yeah,
source
no,
of hadith.
I get that. But I'm not like a hadith specialist or anything like that either. I'm a like normal guy that has an interest.
Of Prophet Muhammad saying second only to the Quran. That's how literally the authentic collection only second to the Quran.
Yeah, no, I know. I get all the principles and that, and all the outlines and that. What you're saying.
Okay, so in that case, Bobby, what would
This
be
is from the Muslim community. They write this that like Muhammad al-Bukhari.
So if you don't believe him, what would be the sort of evidence that would perhaps change your mind? What would you have to be confronted with for that to?
There wouldn't be. I can answer that for you. There won't be any evidence that can convince Bobby because of what he's learnt and what he feels. He feels like this could actually ruin his whole belief system, and who he is as a man will not let him do that. He will have to actually stand and say, hang on. And the most common is, oh, I don't believe in that. Oh, I believe that's fake. That's corrupt. That's why we got the Islamic dilemma. The Bible's corrupt.
And that's it. I mean, obviously, people have to try to handle that as well, like people higher up as well. You know, the Islamic scholars and that. Not the big mouth ones on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, the actual people need to maybe interpret it and that and see what they can say about it.
But Bobby, they exist and they believe every word of the Quran, the Hadith, etc. They believe every word of that, and like these people could actually get into power and completely ruin our culture for this kind of culture. You know what I mean? I mean, we're lucky that we can still talk about this at the moment because the Islamophobic laws that the Islam community wanted to bring in aren't that strong at the moment. So we're able to you know. Then again, we are talking from Bible scripts here, or from Quran scripts, etc.
I would have to ask the question here that obviously there are people who do believe this. Does that then mean that they would practice those beliefs in their daily life, Bobby?
Well, in other parts of the world, maybe. But like I said, I don't know if they just
doing that, that's breaking the law, isn't it?
You know, in other parts of the world, obviously they have like different ages and that as well. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but
so it's a bit of a difficult question. Look, obviously, I'm not a lawmaker. I'm not someone that can fully flesh out these type of.
I know, and
things.
we are unfair. That I'm not going to deny that it isn't fair that there are 3-on-1 and a whole chat against.
I'm not running anywhere, and I'm flipping trying. Do you know what I mean?
You're doing a good job.
It is very obvious that you're a moderate Muslim, right? We appreciate that about you, right? Yeah. And you're not one that to tell us that we can't eat pork or we can't eat during Ramadan or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't think you'd be one to be enforcing them rules, but those rules are being enforced by some of your community, if you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, in general society, when you're talking about taking people and making them do the prayer actions and that, look, I don't agree with that. If you show someone in a book or on a video that this is what people do, that's fine. Taking them to visit other sites is fine. Obviously, as long as you give a note to the parents, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But my question is, if there are people who are following the ways of the Prophet and they're doing it in this country, like you said, there might be. Why aren't people coming out and saying, "Don't do that. That isn't the law in this country"?
Well, some are, and they get bullied off YouTube.
Some do, and obviously, if people do like devious things, man, you know they're gonna do it hidden, regardless of who they are, whether they're using religion. I don't want to make it as an excuse either, but you know, if they think that it's okay to do this,
look at Muffin Ali.
Can you
Yeah.
see the screen, Bobby?
Look at the other guy. Look, there was some flipping guy. What was that? There's some guy that did something in the park to another bloke, the immigrant. He was a Muslim.
Yeah.
And he did something to another bloke. Like, so, do you see what I mean? What kind of Muslim is that then? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but they're there, you know.
And he's probably done more Muslim things than I have.
We've got
Like,
to kind of deal with it, you know what I mean?
Mine are quite strict in that with their prayers and a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
There is another question I have that, I mean, I don't know what you think about this or how you can address this really, but it seems as an outsider that there seems to be a problem with sexual assault. Like, for example, we've all heard about the grooming gangs. So there is the ruling in the Quran about sexual activities being, you know, a duty of the woman and an expectation. How can that be reconciled with the British laws that we have? Because there's obviously a contrast between those two about what consent means. How do you feel about that?
So what happens here? Look, with Muslims, I think they have to get used to the idea that Islam is like a passenger in this country, as well as other faiths, if that makes sense.
So you think it can't say that it's the only faith, it has to exist alongside other faiths?
Yes, because England isn't a Christian country, a Muslim country in the first place. So we know that from the get-go, they're going to be compromises. Look, when I grew up, you couldn't get halal meat anywhere.
Yeah.
You could only get it from one place, you know, in Luton, and one place we knew of in London. And that was it. There was none of these halal chicken shops and stuff like that. So we knew there were compromises. Do you see what I mean?
I get that. But today, though, there are certain areas where it's gone the complete opposite, where you've got nothing but Muslims. And those people, they might say in the near future, they might say, right, well, this part of London, this is ours. It's not London anymore. We want this to be our own place. And we want to just practice our Islamic ways. We want to practice the Sharia and only that. That would be with Islamic.
They should never do that, and they should be taught that that's a bad thing and a wrong thing, and against the just the general kind of makeup of this country. You know, like if you're going to turn around and say, "Oh, we're just going to take this bit for ourselves, and you can have that bit," that's not the way to go.
No, I agree. What if they justified it though through like scripture, for example? What if they found a bit where they could perfectly line it up and say, "No, we're allowed to do this"? Would that change your opinion of that? Or are you still the same, you know, is British law?
Can you see the screen, Bobby?
Because I've always seen it as a Christian country.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? So I always see like the laws that we have, they've always been ones that I live by.
Yeah.
And Islamic laws is usually just the kind of smaller ones or the general ones that are kind of not doing anything in terms of countering against UK system, British law and that. We just do those other things as extras, right? In a sense, I suppose. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing I'd say. I mean, no one can really say that we want a piece of land like this. Like, look, what is it here? People really what they do? They buy houses and buy land here and buy farmland and that. So anyway, they'll probably say something's maybe yours, right? In any capacity.
The concern that I would have about that is that if you got these areas that are really concentrated, like Whitechapel, as they expand, they go from being a street to a district to a borough. Then you're not far away from having a city, and then you're not that far away from having your own county. And if it were a county, it would probably then say, well, we want independence from England. We want to be Britannistan or something like that.
Yeah, no, they got to shut that fluff down, man. Yeah, you got to shut that type of fluff down for sure. But look, even with like Whitechapel and that, you know, with the writing they changed on the tube station. When they did that, I thought this is a mistake. You know what? This is going to come back and blow up in people's faces 10 years. And my mate, obviously Bangladeshi, he was like, "Oh, this is cool, innit?" I guess it's not cool. Watch, this is going to come back and bite everyone in the ass. I guess this is, I think people are going to see this as like not a good thing in the future. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, let me put this question to you then. That's slightly less probing than any of the other ones that we've done so far. Do you think that, and I would argue that this is the case, but do you think that there are some Muslims who have been taking the piss?
Of course, man. But
So
but you know, in what way though?
how do we deal with those people, and what should be done about them?
When you mean taking piss, what do you mean, like financially, doing a
Financially,
quick job,
yeah,
being a
not
thief?
based on
Such
laws.
as Mohammed hijab. Let's take him for instance.
Mhm.
Yeah, him
Take
and
it, go on.
Darwin, bad. They're just bad for
Yeah.
Islam.
Is all? Are you up for Sharia law? I'm taking it. No, you're not.
See, this what's happened, yeah. You know, those two guys, they've ended up getting a lot of airtime and sucked the air out in it for everyone else.
Mm.
And
Yep.
and if you guys think of Islam and that, first thing you're gonna think of is these two, innit? Tom and Jerry kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one off of Islam. Yeah,
They've been destroyed.
You know,
in my mind, they're Islamists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the thing that I think that Muslims don't fully appreciate, is the fact that they think, because of the scripture tells them to, that their religion's perfect, their prophet is perfect, everything in it is absolutely perfect, and it comes straight from God.
Yeah.
But people in Britain do not see that. They see, like I said, they see a pervert, they see nothing but violence, and a lot of people are beginning to think to themselves, there's only 6% of this country is Muslim. Look at the fucking problems they're causing us. What is it going to be like when they're 10%?
Yeah. Look, the violence. Look, the thing is, the violence has got many aspects to it, isn't it? This is the issue, man. Like, you know, there's a terrorism aspect, is this, and then then it's difficult to try. Look, if we take the crimes for what they are, I think that's the easiest way. Do you see what I mean? Like, if someone's spouting too much, like as in inciting people to commit crime.
The current Liberal government, Labour government, won't do anything about it. I mean, they've even the Greens, I think, did, or in Burton and Denton. Sorry, what's it called? Burton and Denton. Gorton and Denton. They've got that that bloke who was arrested for terrorism crimes.
Shahid Bhatt.
Sure. Also, look, we're having this talk now as well. These things are kind of things of our time that have come up, right? And there's a little bit on us as well as Muslims to kind of talk to other Muslims, calm them down, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're able to get so many privileges in Britain that you're able to run, even though you're a terrorist, right? You're able to run as a councillor in a Birmingham. You know what Birmingham's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of Muslim capital kind of thing. And they've got people like that running for councillors and stuff, you know. And this is obviously a worry. This is obviously a worry to the British public, because what happens if one of them get into power? What happens if one of them ends up with sat next to a nuclear button in Downing Street? You know what I mean? And we know what this. I think it's a Sunni. Is it the Shias think that? I mean, if they press that button, they'll be looked at as the new Messiah. You know what I mean? Because that's what it says in I think it's either the Sunni or the Shia faith.
You know, the unfortunate thing is, you see, like whenever we have like Asians or Muslims in certain like more powerful jobs, or you know, like higher up jobs, it's always the idiot ones they give their jobs to. That's part of the flipping problem as well.
Well, look at that guy. Look at that guy, backbench of Parliament, who stood up. I don't know. Yeah. Stood up and said,
I'm the most over-promoted man ever.
Do you see what I mean? Like they wouldn't look. I'm quite, you know, obviously I'm Muslim and that as well, but if for some reason they wouldn't give someone like me these positions in the council or as an MP,
you could be a councillor.
I'm thinking I'm a much nicer, much more balanced person. I've got the same level of qualifications as them, but these people will never open the door to me. So that's where I realized that, is it because I'm Muslim? Is it because I'm Pakistani? British.
I would say they'd be
not hardcore enough.
They're more likely to open the door for you, I would have said.
Have you ever applied to be a councilor?
No, I tried to kind of go to like meetings and that. Tried to get,
if you haven't even
tried to get a feel for it, and then certain things, you know, when I was a bit younger and that. But then, like, you know, when I like, let's say I start approach for positions and that, they just kind of just like won't even really talk to you, won't barely will even reply to your applications and that.
Well,
It's always been like that.
in general.
I'm gonna put something up on screen, Bobby. I'm not gonna say a word. This is your Quran. I just want to put this up on screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, barely. I barely, man. You know, my screen's really small in it on my phone. I can't really read it. That's why.
I'm gonna bring something up there. Can you read that, or is it too small?
Too small, man.
All right, I'll read it to you. Then I'm not going to say anything else. I just want to read it, and I want you just to tell me what you get from this. It is Surah 65, Ayah 4 of your Quran. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let you answer what you take from that. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As for your women past the age of menstruation, in case you do not know, their waiting period is 3 months, and those who have not menstruated as well. As for those who are pregnant, their waiting period ends with delivery, and whoever is mindful of Allah, he will make their matters easy for them. What does that say to you?
To be honest, look, like I said to you, look, even that, yeah. Look, I said these kind of things, I'd like to kind of speak to other people about it, because obviously even the language, you know, when I said to you even before, the language is a bit backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So even English,
I'll read the Arabic for you if you like. I can
read
it.
No, it's not that. What I'm trying to say to you that I haven't really got the ability to read the Arabic. But what I'm trying to say to you is that this kind of thing I can take away and look into and come back and see what I can find.
So are you saying to us then what you mean
in your Quran, though? Sorry, Jake.
Look, I'll be honest with you, Church. I'll tell you what I take away from it. I'll tell you what I take away from it, yeah? Something about waiting 3 months after a period of separating. But that's what I'm taking from that.
What I'm
about
getting,
the not
Bobby,
menstruated as well? Why would that be in there?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's the bit. See, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman, and I'd like to.
A period is menstruation. You know that.
Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, but it to be honest, like those kind of questions weird me out anyway. Even if you said it in any language, do you know what I mean?
It's basically saying she's got even those who have not menstruated have to wait 3 months because they might be pregnant. So you know that implies that they're pre-period, but they're having sex and they're possibly married because we're talking about divorced. And for this to be in the Quran, which I've left up, you know, so you know it's number 65.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
This is probably a good explanation to the mentality of what we as Brits see some of the Muslim community do out in public. Would you not think that? You know, a lot are indoctrinated at birth and they live by the Quran. You know, forget your hadiths. Let's just say this verse in the Quran. Do you not think that there's Muslims out there who literally live this?
Yeah, look, like I said, I don't fully know what that actually means. Honest to God, I'm just being honest with you.
I think Bobby is saying that he hasn't read enough about it and he doesn't really know what this is saying, and so he's only speaking to us from his personal experience, and he doesn't know enough about this. I think, is that right?
Yeah.
And you're only
I'm not trying to get out of it. I just don't know enough about this type of thing.
But in real life terms, would you allow your daughter pre-period to have sex? Would you let your daughter do that?
Hell no, of course
exactly.
Not.
So you literally just said, like, this Quran can go in the bin then, because that is not your ideology. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, you could always denounce your religion if you wanted to, but then you're going to be into apostate territory, and you would not want to be there.
But it's not that. It's like,
you would not want
Bobby
to be there.
will find a reason to get around it.
Look, I've never had this type of stuff put to me even before. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know there's a lot of talk about age and stuff like this, yeah. But I've kind of been more on the
stream, sir.
Well, the problem is an obvious one, really. The problem is because the Quran has set itself such a high level, it can't then live up to it, because it says this is the final word, and it comes from God, and it therefore can't be changed.
Yeah.
All the things like this have to remain for all time, and you can't get rid of them. And
Look,
that's a problem.
But Bobby's just said that he's basically a better man than Muhammad. That's what he's basically said.
Not allowed. Not allowed.
It's a good thing, Bobby. It's a good thing, Bobby.
What I'm trying to say that there's other areas that I'm kind of probably more stronger on.
Yeah.
Rather than biology and the female body and genitalia and that kind of stuff, right?
But when it comes down to Islam, that matters.
Yeah, of course it does as well, right? But obviously I'm more concerned with like obviously the behavior of people, the crime, you know, the stuff that people.
Then is that
the
much more cultural than you are a literal Muslim?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, that would make more sense from the things that you've been saying for sure. You don't really look too much at the scripture. You know what to do. You know how to say your prayers. You do that social things, but really it's just something that you just do. Is that about right?
Yeah. Obviously, it's always been part of my life, but you know, again, look, like even like I said, look, even living in England and that, it's not like I've grown up around an Islamic society.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The part of town that I live in, it kind of become more Muslim a bit later.
Yeah, so you were much more aware of British culture.
Yeah.
There is one question that I did want to ask, and I wondered if you'd be able to answer it, which is a lot of Muslims, when somebody says something that they think is an insult to their prophet, they go ape shit and try and hit people. So when somebody says something about the prophet, what I want to know is what would be a sort of a comparison for us to understand. So is it?
No, you said it. No, you said it right before you said.
Is it as bad as someone saying something about
Yeah, no, you pretty much described it correctly before on that one, where like it would be taken as like a personal insult, as if you personally insulted one of their own family members, their mother or their partner or something.
So it is as bad as just slagging off someone's mum.
Okay. Yeah. But if you see, look, I've looked into all these things, and obviously things are hard to hear as well, right? And they're a bit crass and that as well, that it is. But you know, I suppose everyone's just trying their best, right?
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. Sorry, what was the question again, Jake? You were saying something? Remind me.
It was to do with why people become really violent when the prophet.
Oh yeah, why they flip. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So obviously, with my understanding of it, look, that's one of the reasons why I'm talking to you guys as well, just to show you that like some of us do have self-control over such things as well.
Yeah, we know them. Yeah, we know they.
That's something as well. I think people here have to learn to kind of take it on the chin.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, even when our prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was around, people used to insult him to his face. People fought him back then. Yeah. So it's no different if people were to do it now, in a sense.
Well, let's turn it around. Let's try a different approach here, because we've spent a long time saying to you things about Islam and challenging your beliefs and asking you questions. So let's shift the emphasis onto you now. And what things about Islam do you think most people who aren't Islamic really misunderstand? And what would you like them to be able to understand better?
I think, I mean, it's difficult now, because when I grew up, I was kind of told to be like helpful and that. Like, you know, before I'd say to you that Muslims are really helpful and this and that, but I've kind of seen that even though there's more Asians and more Muslims, they're not necessarily all nice like me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're not all necessarily, like, you know, because I've experienced different things in different ages. Like, you know, I was always taught to help people. Like, obviously I'm a car guy, you know, if I ever see like an old lady or, you know, couple having problems on the side of the road, kind of person I'd get out and I would help.
Even if they were English or Muslim.
Yeah.
And Jewish people.
Jewish?
Yeah, anyone. But my dad taught me those kind of things as well. Like, you know, you should always help out people, help out English people and that. My dad like make sure they don't think we're a bunch of like idiots and that, you know what I mean, that we're good people and that kind of thing generally. Yeah,
I wanted to ask about that. I mean, how were your parents about you understanding the different cultures? I mean, did they encourage you to find out more, or were they more?
Yeah,
they did. Okay.
My dad, yeah. Even though my dad was like my dad was probably quite like me, but he was quite encouraging, because obviously we grew up watching films, English films, Indian films. So we kind of like had a grasp of different things and different cultures more than a lot of people did, because I'd go to school and I'd be like, I'll watch this film on the weekend, watch that film. These are the days when most people didn't even have a TV. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people even, had a black and white TV. And then I told them, I saw RoboCop on the weekend. They go, what do you mean you saw RoboCop? And then like, RoboCop's not even out in the cinema. It's barely just come out in America. Because I've got it. And then people think I'd be talking balls. Do you know what I mean? And every week I'd have a story. I saw this film. And they used to think I'd be making it all up. Then one day, one or two of my mates came to my house and they saw all my films, and they were pirates in it from America. They're, how the fuck did you get out of all this? I guess, my uncle got it all. He sent it to us.
I take it that your parents came in properly on a visa and filled in all their
No, my parents did the proper way, man. Back in the day.
And you said one of your parents was Pakistani and one was Kenyan. Is that right?
Yeah.
And also, let's say, heaven forbid that there was a civil war, right? And you had to choose a side.
Oh, I said that last night, I think, yesterday.
Did you say that last night to him?
I'll tell you what gets me, Bobby, right?
No, I'll give you one, which might help. If there was a fight between England and Pakistan, I'll take England's side.
Okay.
I'll give you that at least. The Civil War one, war. Boy, I hope there ain't anything. But to be honest with you, I would have to kind of stay out of it, because I care enough where I don't want harm to come to anyone, or either peoples or any sides. So it'd be a very difficult situation for me.
And let's say you're next door. Sorry, Jake, go on.
That's right. Is that what you're saying, Bobby? That your allegiance is you've got far more of an allegiance with Britain than you have with Pakistan?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because it's where you've been brought up.
Pakistan was under British rule, wasn't it, for a long time?
Supposedly
exactly.
Yeah. And I think your dad or your granddad might have very well fought with the English, same as Ben Habib's granddad.
No. Maybe other family members might have, but not that I generally know of. But I know some people did.
So if you were to abstain from a civil war, right, and you knew that they had missiles or guns next door, and that was a Islam family, right, would you report that? Would you?
I would. I'd stop them.
Well, you see, told you're a decent bloke.
Yeah, I'd stop them, bro. I'd never want any harm to come to anyone here if I could stop it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
What do you think about like the whether you agree or not, I don't know. The view on the Jewish community and why they seem to be so persecuted by Muslims. I mean, where do you stand with your own personal view on Muslims? I mean, do you see them as equals, or you, as in the Quran, that you sort of
it's really nice. It's awkward for me, because with Jews, my experience has been really positive most of the time, all the time. To be honest, extremely positive, right? So, even my last,
most of the Muslims,
even my last one, I told you about my operation. It was a fantastic Jewish doctor. Do you know what I mean? And I've had, even when I was young, when I had on my other operation, when I had the fight I told you about, again, that was a Jewish doctor that fixed me up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then again, Ayatollah Khomeini, he had his operations done on his cancer, didn't he? By a Jewish doctor. Yeah, pointed all the missiles at him as soon as he got out of hospital. You know what I mean? So,
you see what I mean? So when you're asking me, I'm actually giving you like actual personal answers, like actual things that have actually happened. So for me to say something bad about them when they've done, they've done this kind of thing for me, or saved my ass, or saved my life.
Yeah,
I can't.
If you were in Iran,
I find it really hard to understand why any Muslim would like to dislike the Jews, because I mean, you know, the verse like, oh, there's a Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me, come kill him. Apparently that's what a rock said, unless it's sarcasm. So although there's Jewish hatred in there, and it is taught in Islamic states in schools for kids with Purple the Mouse and all that and whatever, but what I don't understand is, like, Moses is actually mentioned in the Quran 136 times. Muhammad is only mentioned 4 times, whereas Moses is actually probably the most important prophet in Judaism. He's spoken more about in the Quran than Muhammad. So why or how is it come to be that Islam, or certain Muslims, not just Islam, but certain Muslims, hate Jews so much that we end up seeing things like October the 7th and then Hamas doing what they done? Palestinians voted, 84% of them actually respected Hamas more for doing what they done on October the 7th against the Jews. Yet the Quran mentions him, like I say, 136 times. It seems a bit like it doesn't add up. Like, where's this Jew hatred coming from?
I get it. It goes all over. It goes very, very technical. Look,
isn't it? It's all down
to
you were Jewish.
This is the thing. All these, all these religions are built off that Abrahamic pillar in the first place, and which led to Muhammad, which led to David, which led to Solomon. You know, Jesus, Muhammad, as I believe. But where the separations comes in, it's just got so complicated. It's just got very dark, very sinister. Do you know what I mean? You think about it, it's very, man, like, hate it, like, you know, is it a land war? Is it an oil war? You know, it has these religious undertones from all kinds of people, Shias, Sunnis, flipping Wahhabis, Israelis. You know, they're all spouting like some kind of undertones and religious undertones, and all of it's quite scary and frightening, to be totally honest. When they think about it, it's simpler and easier to understand if they're saying, look, we're after that land, or we're after this. Do you see what I mean?
But do you think it's right that they teach like the Jewish hatred to the kids in schools in Islamic countries?
No, it's not right. It's not right.
You as a Muslim must be like horrified. Like, hang on, this is supposed to be.
I see. I thought, bloody hell, you shouldn't be happening.
I mean, I know you're not like that or that inclined, so you know, I'm trying to sort of put around.
Obviously, some things I see like that. Sometimes you know, you see like that, it does freak you out, and you know, when you see like freaky videos and I think, bloody hell, man, this is horrible, which is what I mean. When there's any kind of hatred put around.
See, I think you're more of a westernized Muslim, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I am generally, I suppose. You know,
you see that guys, anybody calling Bobby names and stuff like that. You got to remember that this guy's actually a grade A1 example of a simulation.
Look, man, I just think it's so sad the way things have kind of panned out, and the way you guys have obviously are hurt by what's gone on. Do you know what I mean? Right? And I kind of like feel bad about that. Do you know what I mean?
When
I just honestly can't understand how anything and everything. It doesn't take long to research the Quran, the Hadiths. But without sounding too cruel or nastier here, but I can't understand how 2 billion people can follow something like Islam and not see what we see. I mean, is this coming down to sort of like IQ, education, location? I don't know, but Islam is so obviously not true, yet people believe in it to the point they will die for it, yet it's wrong. That I can't get my head around it, and that's why I like to talk to people like you. Like, I'm not going to convert you. I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, to us, like, if you said something to do with Christianity, we have relics, we have papyrus that's been written, and that there's more proof for the Bible than there's not proof, so to speak. Whereas they've been building in Mecca. They've not found one artifact to do with Islam. So, like, where did that come from? So there seems to be more against it than there is for it. But I can't get my head around that 2 billion people could actually be wrong. No offense.
Okay. Okay. I might be able to maybe tiny bit help here. You see, like, you know, if you see the world in like an East and Western kind of divide, and maybe like an Eastern type of thinking and a Western type of thinking. You know, even my Indian culture, Kenyan culture, and there's a lot there, you know, even with the African culture, heritage going back to the old Jewish religions and things like this. You probably all read up on it, Egypt and all of this ancient stuff that goes all the way back there. Now, what it is like with like proof. You said you want like some kind of evidence, right? So I tried to look for this as well when I was
your community, so to speak, because you know, like we have stuff whereas they've dug up Mecca and they didn't find any artifacts or no evidence of Muhammad. So even for your benefit, for you to say, well, actually, Wiz, we got this. You haven't got anything.
I'm gonna try run through some and see if it helps.
Some evidence.
I'm gonna try run through some, see if it helps. So there has been evidence in like there has been evidence in Turkey apparently that was found where they discovered like giants, like ancient giants and things like this. You know, things that are described in the Bible, and you know, in terms of like Eastern kind of education, that or Eastern history or whatever, like we were always told these kind of things are always there. If that makes sense, you know, just the weird stuff that come from Eastern culture. That's weird.
Is that something you believe in?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did. Do you see what I mean? But look, let me go through some of the stuff that I can. Let me give you a few points, a few examples.
There's one reason why I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because if he split the moon, there were astronomers in China and in Persia who kept detailed records of all the events in the sky. So if the moon split, there would be a record of it, and there isn't one. And that for me is a good example of saying, well, that event didn't happen.
Yeah, but then there's that Indian guy that did record it in India. There's that one as well. You see, so that's that. But I'm gonna try help us with what might be able to help a bit. You know, with what we can find. Right now, right. Yeah. So the giant bones thing in Turkey and the border of Turkey and Greece, or something like. There's a BBC documentary on it as well years ago, and I can't find it again for the hell of me, to find that bit. And there was a couple of other good documentaries on there. I can't find it again. They were really good. Like you never see them again. Just talking about just other religious kind of sites and that general, like even Christian ones and that. But yeah, look, there's other stuff. For example, we believe Adam is from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And there's Adam's mountain or something like that in Sri Lanka.
On the giants thing, on the giants thing, there was Robert Wadlow. I've just googled it. Robert Wadlow. He was 8'4", right? A pituitary gland problem, right? Maybe they're just digging up them, or maybe, I mean, I've seen it on debunking channels, but I don't know if it were in Turkey or not. But it was an art installation, and it was framed as being, oh look, they found giants, etc. Place, you know what I mean? It's really massive skull, and they're there like with paintbrush and that lot. And it was just an art installation, you know what I mean? But there are people who look like giants, 8.5 feet. You know, there's they fairly well, you know, they're not exactly not common, because then you've got the Ghanaian giant as well. I'm just looking on here. You know,
even like apparently, you know, Abel, you know, as in Cain and Abel. Yeah. Abel's grave's in Syria, and it's like a giant grave.
Yeah.
There's Adam's mountain in Sri Lanka, and that's where we believe Adam's from. And we believe Eve's from obviously what we would call Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah.
And
I mean the reasons dinosaurs grew so big, you know, because of all the oxygen in the atmosphere. So maybe there were more oxygen around then. I don't know.
Maybe and they were bigger.
I'm just spitballing, you know. So maybe it were more of a common birth thing that were happening, you know, in that day.
Maybe so. I've heard that as well. Other stuff is like, you know, with Noah.
Yeah.
You know the idea of like the animal gods and that in India. Yeah, my nan used to tell me that like Noah was buried in India,
Wow.
and they used to visit the grave.
Yeah.
So this is just stuff that I'm trying to give you, stuff that I've tried to hunt, because you're asking, you know, the stuff you're talking about, like papyrus, the other Christian relics. And now, of course, I've taken a massive look into all of these things, because you always see them in the documentaries and that, and you try to look into them. That so obviously I tried to apply that same thing as well from a young age, and these are the kind of things that I did find, if that makes sense. But obviously, I'm not rich enough to get down there and go and have a look for myself, right? To actually say, look, here's the pictures and that. But at least at some point, it's for some people. So then this idea of, like, let's say the animal gods in Hinduism, you know, we were taught that this is like a corruption of like the animals, you know, from the boat and stuff like this. And they ended up in India, and so like you had like Noah's sons, and they were called Sind and Hind, which is like the old words for India, right? And do you see what I mean? So these are kind of general things that we're taught that maybe engineers don't always hear.
Yeah, you see, because there's so many stories of the flood and that, I think it's a localized thing that they were talking about. And because they were, you know, I mean, we didn't have jets back in them days. You couldn't go and jump on a jet and then 2.5 hours later you could be in 24 degrees centigrade like I were in Benidorm. I wish I was back there, but yeah, you couldn't do things like that. So I think it was more of a localized flood. Plus, you've got to remember all of the plant life and that for all the animals would have all died off if it was global. It would have all died off because it basically would have just turned into seaweed. 40 days under a salt water or being drowned, you're going to have nothing to eat. You know what I mean? All the animals. So I think it was more of a localized thing, and then they could just go onto another plane and then start grazing then, you know, all the animals.
There was a lot of floods. There's a big flood in India. There's a big flood in like Turkey, in the Black Sea. Big flood even in England, like with the Doggerland and that.
Yeah,
that all went under as well.
Yeah, and plus, of course, every civilization's got a story of a flood. So I think they were more localized. In my humble opinion, they were localized because it couldn't have worked if it were global.
I've just looked up that moon thing because it's quite interesting, the split in the moon. Or it does say like there's literally no scientific evidence of, but they actually say it was more likely due to a lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I never knew that, but that does make sense.
I
learned something new today.
You know, you're speaking about the moon. I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know if it was about 8 to 10 years ago. There was a thing that happened with the moon 8 to 10 years ago. I'm hoping you guys could remember this because you're old enough to kind of retain this type of information. But the moon like kind of changed shape and it went purple. Do you not remember that?
It does change color sometimes, yeah.
There's one specific time where they kind of just changed and looked like a button. Like you see all this little detail on it. All of that disappeared, and it just looked like a button, you know, like a trouser button. And you could just see like a hoop, and it was purple, and it looked really weird.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And that happened. I saw that myself, and that was all over the news and that. And they were saying, "Oh, the moon's going to look a bit funny and a bit tonight or whatever."
Yeah.
I just looked up and I see it, and I thought, "Bloody hell!"
So
purple go round, they block each other out as they pass that, and so you get an eclipse or you get a change in color as they spin.
This was really weird. It was just like as if someone's put like a button up in the sky. Like it just totally changed.
Do you know if this was a global event or was it localized somewhere?
It says the short answer is no. The moon always stays round. What changes is the portion of sunlight we see reflecting off the moon's surface. These changing appearance.
I did get a picture of it on my smartphone, but my smartphone was crap in it. But I knew another girl who had a good camera and she got a good picture of it, you know.
Yeah. So if it was localized in a certain place, it could have been a volcano, and I mean, potassium nitrate that glows purple. You know what I mean? That's a purple powder. It's quite poisonous though. So I'm wondering if maybe something had gone off in a volcano or something and thrown a load of potassium permanganate up. Yeah, might be, or it might even be a phenomenon with the aurora. Might have come across, and obviously that would be on the top end of the rainbow spectrum, purple, I think, or bottom end of it. So they might be picking that up. obviously, you know, I think it has colours like purple and, well, basically almost all colours in rainbow, isn't it?
I have to say, I'm very disappointed. Phil has quite rightly pointed out in the chat there that they do happen. These eclipses happen regularly, and they're very localised. You have to be in the right place for it.
Yeah.
None of us are ever going to see a total eclipse in England in our lifetime.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they did it for years in advance. We are never going to see a total eclipse.
No, we have fairly recently.
Yeah,
Well,
we did one that was about 90%. And I think that there is one that's going to be in the near future that's about 90% as well.
Yeah.
But sadly, we won't get to see the full illusion.
No. Or A-list comet again.
No.
Not at my age.
I didn't see it the first time. It was bloody cloudy every night.
Yeah.
Well, I did see a comet. It was either last year or the year before. There was one, and I took a great picture of it on my Instagram. It was beautiful, but you couldn't see it with the naked eye. You could only see it if you took a picture with your iPhone.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But it's, yeah, the most amazing one, I'm sure most people remember, the Hale-Bopp comet in '96.
Yeah, that one, right. A week, weren't it, in air? Just see it sat there. Yeah.
They're weird things, aren't they? Because they don't look like they move. They just kind of sit.
Yeah, well, they're that far away, aren't they? You know what I mean? This is what
them to streak across. And
this is what 51st dates keep saying to me. Well, I come North Star never moves. I said, well, it does move slightly. I said, have you ever been on an aeroplane, right? And you're looking at the floor. Yeah, you're looking at the floor. It's going past like this, and then look at the trees in distance, right? They're going past like this, you know. It's called, I forget what it's called it now, but yeah, it's that. And imagine if that's four bloody light years away. Imagine how fast that's going to move. It's not going to move anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just going to be sat there, no matter how fast we're going. 66,000 miles an hour or something it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fast.
Very. Yeah.
There was some questions I did want to ask you guys, or Jake in particular, because he's done this job himself.
Jake don't know nothing, mate.
I can't guarantee I'll be able to give you the full answer, but no, fire away.
No, is that connected to like class and that? You see, like with the school system here, yeah, because I know you're involved in this industry, right? Yeah. How does it work with like the levels of school? Like, I'm gonna try my best to explain this. Like, you see how you have your normal schools, then you have your grammar schools, you have your private schools, you have your Brit schools. What is all this? Like, is this a class system?
No, it's not. I can see why it looks like that, though. And
why do all these people get good jobs and everyone else goes to shit schools done?
Well, I'll try and explain it in the best way that I can.
Because that's one way around racism. Sorry, just I'll let you finish in a second. Because these are the people that get the jobs in the politics and that. They've gone to private school and gone to this. They're the ones that get the DEI.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll also find people who are in politics usually lie on the CV.
And I was told I'm not allowed to lie, and I'd get arrested if I ever did it. If I got a big gap on my CV, they're like, "Oh, but I go, what am I meant to do? I'm speaking the truth."
Just choose somewhere where they've gone under, like me.
Yeah,
all the places I've ever worked at.
Me having a clean driving license, being a well-integrated Muslim, no criminal record. I've got a degree. I worked for Lexus as a manager. I worked for Sega for a bit. I worked for Technicolor for a bit. Half of these jobs were like flipping. I've been a car audio installer. Half of these jobs were I've had to were temporary and that as well. Since I left uni, because I started with temporary 0-hour contract stuff from year 2000. And it kind of messed everyone up. Job agencies and all this stuff, and getting everyone to rent out their houses and flats from that point, and all of that was going on. But what I found,
see how it works, if you like, how I think it works anyway. So your school system is everyone has the opportunity to go. So your comprehensive school is what most people will go to, and then they'll go to sixth form or college, and then employment, or they'll go into university. That's the experience most people have. That's the experience that I had. The grammar school system is different because that's something that you only really find it in the southeast and in the northwest. And those schools are there for just the same bunch of people, ordinary kids. They take a test age 11. If they pass it, then they can go to a grammar school. And the difference between a grammar school and a comprehensive school is that the pace of learning is about 10 times as fast. It's just crazy if you ever see the difference between the two. It really is very, very different. It's much more focused on academic stuff. You get less of the sort of behaviours that you see in a comprehensive school, but the behaviours that you do see can be more of a handful because they're much more intelligent, if that makes sense. So you have to try and balance things out in that way. But generally speaking, how that affects people's chances is if you go to a grammar school, you're more likely to get into one of the higher level universities because of the prestige of the school comes into play in that regard, because grammar schools will get higher results than other places. So to put that into context, the grammar schools I worked in, they would get 100% A star to C grades at that time, whereas the average in the country was 50%. So there's a massive, massive difference there. So you get far more going into the higher universities. Now, the private school system is different. I worked in one school for a year. Didn't really like it. They called you by your first name and you wore ordinary clothes, and I didn't really like that. But the difference there is that not all public schools, as they're properly called, are the same. So it all depends on how much people pay and what the prestige of the school is. So the one I taught in was just one in Rochester that was, you know, it was okay. It wasn't particularly expensive. People would go into high-end universities, yes, but it didn't really have the tradition to have an old boys network. Whereas somewhere like Eton or Harrow, you're talking about people who are paying about 40 grand a year in school fees. So they're the elite people in society. They mix with elite people in society, and their families have gone there for generations. That's where you get the people that I think you're referring to that we then see end up as politicians. So they go through that system. And that's difficult for people to get into because there's a tradition and a history there, as well as there is wealth. So it's not just wealth that does it. And yes, of course, it creates an unfair advantage. But at the same time, when you look at if you were interviewing somebody and you look at their CV and you see, right, this person went to a grammar school, then they went to Cambridge afterwards, then straight away, that gives them more credit than somebody who went to a comp in Coventry and then went to, I don't know, Swansea University, for example. Although they're both qualified, they're qualified in a different way. There's a bit more weight that's given to other qualifications and places, and that some of that is justified, some of it isn't justified. But yeah, the old boys network is one that it's changed.
This is what I kind of bumped into here and there. You see, when it comes to opportunities, and this is when I was trying to say to you guys before, like a lot of the stuff I experienced. Sometimes I wasn't sure if it was racism, classism, or whatism. Do you know what I mean? Because this is what it is. Because when I grew up, they just told me that it doesn't matter where you go. You know, I had an inkling there was a thing called grammar school that existed when I was in school. I didn't know about private schools or whatever when I went to high school. I didn't really understand that. I still don't. Let's say I'm asking you questions even now, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I just
tell you about the school I worked in.
As long as you're a good person, you're intelligent, you're well mannered, you're principled, you're a good man, and you're honest and truthful. You know, you got all these good things. It doesn't matter where you go, and as long as you try hard and you've got reasonably good grades, you'll get given the opportunity. Someone will meet you halfway. You know, as long as you put the effort in, someone will meet you halfway. You know, and all this, and that never happened for me. Do you see what I mean? Really,
it would be more like, for example, so you've done all these good things, you go for a job, and then you get there, and the person who's awarding the job will look at your CV, and then they'll think, yeah, but then I've got this one from Richard, and I know Richard, and I know Richard's dad, and his dad's really good, and they went to this school, so I'll employ Richard. It seems like a much
sometimes, yeah, what you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Sometimes
it's who you know. You see. And this, and then,
it's not really just applied on yourself. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But this is what I say. Yes, this even affects
where I understand where you're coming from. So the public school that I worked in was one that was. A lot of the kids that were there, it wasn't because their parents were rich. The kids were there because they'd been bullied in other schools, and so it was like a safe haven for them. So it isn't all to do with wealth. But what I will say is, though, in that school, the people there were of a different social class than I was used to. because grammar schools aren't really hugely different from comprehensive. It's just a little bit better, that's all. The results are obviously hugely better, but in terms of the day-to-day, it's not that different. But in the public school, there was a definite sense of class difference. I definitely did not feel comfortable around those people because I didn't know their social rules. It was completely different. So that's where I understand where you're coming from. Because, I'm from the same background.
I was going to say, let's say, what do you think it would be like if they got rid of all these kind of different grades and just said no more private schools, no more grammar schools, no more religious schools, apart from maybe Christianity to a certain extent because of the Christian background, right? Maybe even in the lower years, how I grew up, let's say, how you would have probably recognized school here as well. That's fine. But, any specialist type of schools like this, religious schools, private schools, grammar schools, cut them all out. Everyone just has to attend the normal schools. Then it'll really be all against all. And who is the best?
So you
see what I mean? I want to see these posh people come up against, rough black people and see who's the best at football now. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I want to see when someone comes up against me when I was younger, and then let's see who's the best. Let's just have the real meritocracy.
Well, this is where I had lots of arguments with people, as I'm sure you're not surprised to hear, because this is when I spoke to people at comprehensive schools, I would say that it really pisses me off that you get all of the funding. I understand that there are people with special needs in your schools and that you deserve to get that money. But I think that people who are really intelligent also have a special educational need and they deserve to have that money sent to them to help them as well, and they don't get it. And so I do understand where you're coming from. Merit is much more of a fairer way of dealing with society. And when you've got people that can afford to pay 40 grand a year to send their kid to school, then they'll get a standard of education that is considerably different. You're right, it's not fair. And there are things that can be done.
There's even let's say, awkward white kids in my school as well, which is reasonably mixed, right? And they were intelligent, but they got bullied. But they put up with it still. Do you see what I mean? So I just feel like, not that they had to, but I'm just saying that the frictions of daily life, the frictions on the pitch in the playground, the brutality of the real world, a lot of people get sheltered from it. They get protected from it. I don't really agree with that. Look, even with the Dubai thing, these guys know that half the world's burning on fire, regardless of whatever side you're on. They think they can. Oh, look at us. We're in our rich palaces and our 10-star hotels. Nothing's going to happen to us. We've got war insurance. What the fuck, bro? While everyone else is flipping, living foot to mouth. And you know what I mean? What you guys are going to just be allowed to just live like that while everyone else is struggling. And then on top of that, you gloat about it on the internet.
Yes, I'd just like to say, people in the comments, fuck off. I don't sniff people's farts. What are you talking about, you ridiculous people? You perverts. Go and sniff your own farts. That's certainly something I'm not interested in. What on earth they're on about? I agree with Bobby, though. I think he's got a really good point, though. That there is an unfairness in society. And what I think is really quite interesting is the way that you've...
That's DEI, isn't it?
Yes. Is that you've said before about how you wondered if it were racism. Hopefully, having heard how the schools work like that now, you can see that racism isn't really a part of that. I actually think that racism is something that has been introduced to create more division. Because I think, like you rightly said, when we were younger, you might have been like the only Asian kid in the class or in the street or something like that. But people didn't really give you shit about it, I wouldn't imagine. Not like
this was weird. It was weird. It was amazing. But then we just had little pockets of racism. But I didn't know any other type of crime, like robbery or knife crime. Or do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I've got a peaceful nation until I come up against some resistance with race. But that racism went. You see.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. That racism kind of generally went. So, in the 90s.
But I do really
organisms and all of that.
Unfortunately, I
do understand about you feel that you've been held back because, I can relate to that because, I'm from a council estate. I'm from a single parent family. I grew up in poverty. I understand that, and it does limit your chances because, like I said, you don't have the social etiquette and rules to know how to play their game. And people would often mention at school, you've got to play the game. And I would always sit there and think, I don't know what the fucking game is. And I'm not interested in playing games.
And what would happen with me by accident, because I'm just like quite well spoken. And when I put a suit on and my English goes even better automatically, I don't know why. I just turn into James Bond. It just happens, right? So obviously, when I go to interviews and that, half the people think I've been to private school. So they start asking me about it because they think that I look that polished and that. Obviously, I look like a grubby bugger today, yeah. But obviously, I'm younger. So they'd assume, and I didn't know what they were getting at. And that's like, oh no, I just went to a normal school. I didn't really understand what they were asking me. But obviously, in my later years, I realized when people talk about, oh, these people have this type of polish, and that, it's not even like they'll necessarily even be the best looking people or anything like that, but it's something about them, right? And this has all been kind of taught to them in like in their schools and that, and how to behave, how to act, and an overconfidence that they have.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
I would say, though, to be perfectly honest with you, in my experience, there are only three things really that I think are likely to guarantee somebody's success. And they are, number one, who you know. So if your family's got connections, then you're likely to get somewhere.
Sure.
The second one, I think that this is very much underappreciated, but it's true, luck. Some people get the lucky breaks, some people don't. Man. But the third one, I think this one plays far more of a part than people actually consider, which is what you actually look like. Because you're far more likely to give a job to someone good looking than someone fuck ugly.
You look like a famous man. You're all right.
I'm all right. Yeah, I look like the Joker. Yes, you're right.
But this is the other thing. As well. Let's say, for example, you know, when I was younger and now I was just like smart looking guy and that. But it's like, as an Asian guy, if you're, let's say, good looking or looking good, you wouldn't necessarily feel that people would be you seen that as a positive. They might see you got a suit and a shirt on and that. And that's as far as it goes. Like, they won't say, oh yeah, he's a handsome Asian fella. No one really did that with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, is this why I ain't got it?
You never got that.
Is this why I ain't got it?
You don't even really truly know if you're even appreciated in any other ways.
Now, I am sorry to bring the tone down here, but like I said, I'm really, really tired today, and I'm absolutely starving. So I'm going to have to call it a night. But what I did want to say is thanks again to Wiz, of course, for allowing us to have these conversations. But Bobby, a lot of respect for you. We've known each other for a while, online at least. Anyway, we've had a few chats, and I've got a lot of time and respect for you for coming here today. We've given you some really challenging questions. Fuck off, Wiz.
Oh yeah.
But I do respect the fact you've come here, and you didn't take offence to what we're saying, and you treated it, in the way that we wanted it to be treated, which is we're just having a chat and trying to understand each other.
Sure, that's all as well, man.
So I respect that you've come in. You've been as honest with us as you can. Yes, people in the chat have been mouthing off, but as they always will do. But I think that we understand that you've been talking.
I want to see some of these comments, man. I can't even see any of it. I've never seen any. What are they saying, the buggers?
I've ignored some of it.
Come on, man.
The usual stuff. It's all lies.
Give me a couple. I can take the hits. Don't worry, man.
But when you say your bit, and then I let it go. We're not here for a full-on debate. And like you say, you're no master at Muslim. I'm not really a master at anything either.
That's it's more. Exactly what I'm saying, man. I'm not a master. We're just normal guys trying to find our way.
Yeah,
but all of us
been quite harsh in the chat. That they won't let it drop. Whereas I said my bit. You've then said your bit, and then I've left it because I'm not here to aggravate or cause trouble. Whereas they're going, oh, then ask this Wiz, then ask that. And I don't need to because you've already said, like, I need to go and see this and see that. So what's the point of just like, it's going to get you back up and you'll be like, do you know what, Wiz, pee off, I'm never coming back. That's not what I'm about.
I'm not some 10 out of 10 worldly Muslim scholar. Do you know what I mean?
No, but if you can't explain it, you can't explain it.
I'm educated, man. Yes, I've been brought up in England. But
one thing I would say is, Bobby, this is my last question for you before I go today, is when Lubna interviewed Tommy, he said to her, you're not a real Muslim.
Tommy?
Because she's more of a cultural one. And I wondered, Do you think he would say the same thing to you?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, maybe he would, but no, I would like to talk to him maybe one day, and just to see what his thoughts are in general and that. But who knows? But you see, with Tommy, it's a matter of like me having time for him is the fact that we're from the same part of the country. Do you know what I mean? So people get it mixed up that, oh, you're Muslim, and he says this and that. But it's just that thing of like, look, we're from the same part of the country. We kind of both notice the degradation in society and in our towns and that. I understand about bad behavior and gang behavior and that, which is originally how it started in the early 2000s, like Asian gang behavior, stuff like this.
But I do want to say thank you.
Developed a lot more later, you see.
But I do want to say thanks to you though for coming here today, because they're not easy things to talk about. Not everyone wants to talk about these things. We don't have anyone else we can talk to about these things because our families don't give a fuck. So it's really good that we're able to talk about things that where we don't understand each other so well and try and get somewhere with it. And in many ways, some of the things that we want are the same, but we've got different ways of going about doing it. So I really see. I can't even speak properly.
Questions have been asked. Innit? The questions have been asked. We've got the answers. Yes, we sort of went over a bit like we did last time because we were hoping like you'd seen whatever. But next time, we don't need to ask any of those questions unless you say, oh, by the way, Wiz, I've looked into such and such, and then we can open that and talk about it. But, next time you come on, oh, right, okay, Aisha was 6, and then I consummated the marriage at 9. You're like, mate, you said that the last 2 times. So that's not going to be mentioned again. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to keep bringing it up. So next time we might end up talking more about whatever, I don't know, politics or something in the news, or then, something might have happened and we're like, right, we're talking about that. And we sort of, sidetracked and talk about this, but we're not going to keep going back to that. And if anyone does try that with you, I'll just say, look, mate, we've already discussed that. He said he doesn't know, so shut up. It's as simple as that. So that's how it will go moving forward. So, I think you've got past the hardest questions.
Yeah,
and you're done.
I mean, this is the thing, man. These are the most hardest ones.
Yeah.
People really appreciate.
I started with those ones.
Yeah, and they are the most hardcore ones of all. Yeah. And like I said, look, I maybe I can find out. Like I said, if I can find out, do my best, whatever.
Would you be willing to do this, Bob?
I'll do that.
Would you be willing to have a look into some of the evidence you've been presented with today?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. That's what
I gave him some homework to do last time he was on here.
Yeah, no, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And I said that, look, I wanted to look into it. I did have, like I said, some basic things I did say to you, but I wanted to kind of obviously speak to someone about these particular things, especially maybe, like I said, a lady or something, a Muslim lady that's astute in these things as well, that could maybe help me out a bit. Because, like I said, I'm as clever as I am, I'm good with cars, I'm good with loads of things, certain things I'm really good with. I'm not amazing at everything,
Yeah, I noticed that you're showing off your speaker stack in the background. So, I thought I'd show you mine.
Yeah, no, I wanted to show Jake. Jake had a Baron Wilkins one. Like, look, I wanted to show, because I was cleaning my room up yesterday and finally trying to set things up a bit. So maybe I can get on the podcast and that a bit more with people like yourselves. That's why
I've got 4 of them bad boys. They're member extras from Tanby.
I moved on the speed. These are my surround sound, my quads. These are my home. I've had these.
You do realize I've got over here, don't you? I've got a 4x12 speaker cabinet with a Marshall on top of it.
I know.
Like a great big cabinet.
Yeah. These are baby cannons, man. I got a big subwoofer here as well.
Nice.
There's some down there. Yeah.
Well, I've just got landscape painting, so
and headphones.
But I've had all this stuff for years, but I thought, let me try use it for the podcast and that, make it, because everyone's always showing off their gear on the flipping podcast. Well, you know what? Let me show mine.
You should.
Yes.
But nice to see you all. A really good conversation today, and you take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.
All the best, mate. You take it easy.
You told me to go.
So I didn't realise 3 hours 15 minutes. Holy moly! Yeah. Where did that time go? Wow.
So we're gonna do. Do you want to call it?
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up, mate. You know, even you deserve to have a Sunday evening after the grilling you've had. I mean, blimey, heck, mate. But yeah. It's thing is, though, like sometimes, like I'm not like attacking you. It's just that sometimes, like the questions sort of answered, but not really. So I don't want to drop it. I want to get to that final bit, and then you know, you say whatever, and I'm like, do you know what? This, like, it's not going to go anywhere. He's basically said he thinks this. I don't know enough about that. So I'll get to that point where you're honest enough to say I do not know enough. Other people just sit there and just lie, basically, and it makes Muslims and Islam look even worse. So just to say, look, I ain't got a clue, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. I've got a lot more respect for someone that would say that, and then I can just stop, which I did do. And then we started talking about other stuff. So, but I appreciate you trying to answer it, you know, as honestly as you can. I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, I know Muslims. I have no issue with quite a few Muslims, actually, that I know. I only know one that talks a bit like, well, you know, you could be a bit like, I don't want you around me or my wife or my kids. You're a bit scary. But I mean, as a whole, I think like the Muslim community are probably like the Christians, where they don't actually really know much about the Bible, whereas a Muslim may not know everything that's in the Quran. And you need to accept that, because you're not all the same. You're not all out there trying to hurt us. You've assimilated. You're a family man. You're obviously a very, you know, you come across to me as a good, honest man. And that's why I like it when you come back. And I'm like, good, because we'll have a proper conversation. And I respect that. Whereas those out there who put you and your religion in a bad light, I feel bad for you, because we, to a degree, I think we all need a religion, a belief, faith, a God. It's nice to have that. And since I've died and come back from the dead, it seems to mean a lot more to me. And I can pick up people like yourself, like how much it means to you. Because before my heart attack, I'd probably go hell for leather at you, and you'll be like, well, you're a bit unreasonable. Do you know what I mean? Putting it lightly, I would have been quite whatever. But now where I understand so much more, I think it's only right that, forget all of what we're hearing and seeing and what's going on. Let me respect you as a person, ask you the question, and not lump every single Muslim and every Islamist or even a terrorist on your shoulders, because that's not you. It would be unfair to do that. So I'm hoping that, you know, one, you will come back, and two, you can understand why we ask the questions, but two, that I didn't attack you. Once you said your bit, I let it go and we did move on. So I wasn't, you know, I don't want you to feel like, well, you know, that was a bit like OTT, like you could have sort of given me a break. I'm hoping that I did do that, and people in the chat were like, but ask this, ask that. And I'm like, no, but I've said my bit. You said your bit, and I respect that. And then I just wanted to step back and let you carry on with the stream, and we talk about other stuff. So I'm hoping from this you'll take away that you'd like to come back. We're not going to talk over the same stuff again, and we may even just be talking about news or politics next time. I hope you feel comfortable here and not attacked as a person or as a man.
No, it's fine, Wizard. Look, obviously things can be a bit crass and hard to hear, but at the end of the day, I knew it was always going to be like that, right? A little bit at times, right? And it's just important that I feel like at least one of us tries to reach a hand out from our community in some way. You know, whether that amounts to anything or nothing, you know, at least I tried.
Yeah. I'm going to throw myself out with. Cheers, Bobby.
Yeah, all right, mate. No worries. All right, mate. You take it easy.
Cheers, cheers. Cheers, chat. Oh, missed it.
You missed it. What was I going to say? I'm hoping, like, we do lives on a Wednesday at 7, Saturday, Sunday at 4. So I'm hoping Bobby will come back. We've been all over that. I know what you're all saying in chat. I know you were, but you know, it's not like we're talking to some scholar who knows everything. This is just a genuine, honest person called Bobby D, who is free. I'm hoping if he can say in the chat if he's back, or if he possibly can be back on Wednesday or Saturday and Sunday, both, either, I don't know. But it would be good to, you know, when we go through news and everything, and you guys asking questions, to get the views from different people. Because raised in London, Luton, wasn't it? No, London. He'd moved to London, And then we got Jake living out in the middle of nowhere. Then we got Electrodoc, who talks like that because he's drowned. And you got me looking like God knows what. And it'd be good to get all these different sort of views from people. And I hope you guys in the chat feel a part of it when I remember to put them up on the screen and everything. So, do you know what I mean? It's like build a good community. And yeah, I'm hoping that Bobby will be back and we'll be talking about something else next time. So we'll give him a break. It doesn't always have to be about Islam. I think next time. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Jake's Substack. So all happy days. Yeah, no, thank you, Helen. Thank you to everyone in chat. I really appreciate you spending your afternoons with myself, Jake, Electrodoc, and with Bobby. But you got to admit, guys, Bobby does come across as a good, honest man, and he's a family man. You got to respect that. You have to, and I'm more than happy to have him back. Next time, like I say, we'll talk about news, politics, see what's going on. You know, it's not here just for us to attack, so to speak, in the name of Islam. I'm not up for that. So, but no, next time we won't be really mentioning that. We're going to talk, four of us, about whatever it's going to be. So, yeah, it's all going to be good. So happy days. Then we're going to live the dream. So Olga's using that the wizard UFO, but it don't come up. Typical. But thanks to all you mods in there, Mr. Waffle, Phil, and co, and all you members in green. Look at you in your green. You're all aliens. You're all green, and all that. So yeah, hopefully, we'll be back. Obviously, tomorrow at 1, isn't it? Yeah, Monday tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah, I'll be here at 1 o'clock. All the fresh news, all the fresh politics. We're going to be on it. So don't forget to join me. Happy days. But please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Do all the things you do. Check out all the other videos I've done. Go on, the more views, the better. The more subscribers, the better. The more thumbs up and the more comments, the better. Happy days. So yes, until tomorrow at 1 p.m, ladies and gents. Stay safe. Have a really nice, relaxed Sunday evening. And I will see you in about 24 hours or 12 hours. Oh, I don't know, that many hours. But anyway, like I say at the end of every single live stream and video, that is the wizard's words.